That's interesting. Oh, we don't have an intro yet.
Yeah, no, we don't.
See, because I did this. Alley-yup.
Oh.
See, now we can put on airs.
Oh, I like that. I'm all about putting on airs.
Actually, I want to take this background and put, like, Video Games, like, splattered across it, like,
just
Pollock
like,
style.
Or like in
Helvetica, just tiny, centered,
yeah.
like, 8-point text that you can barely read.
Yeah,
It's like Video Games.
Yeah, like, just, like some very sparse Swiss typeface, right?
Like a really, really, like, floaty kind of calligraphy or something. Anyway.
Hey, guys.
Hi, everyone. We're broadcasting today from San Francisco?
Yeah. Beautiful San Francisco.
Thanks for piping us through to the internet from San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. We've got this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, we today are first
Hey,
gonna...
Kaus John Jason, thank you very much for 13 months.
Hi.
And I am...
Loomlight.
Loomlight?
Loomlight.
Is that a lowercase L?
It looks like an L, yeah.
Or a uppercase
Yeah, no, it's a
I?
lowercase L. Loomlight.
Thank you very much, 28 months.
Welcome back. This is, in fact, Battletoads. Dear Esther is a game. It is maybe the quintessential walking simulator.
Right, yeah.
And it's no secret that the name of this stream... Hi, Ash001. Welcome
Thank you
back.
very much, Ash001.
It's no secret that the name of this stream itself is like a pun on that.
Yeah.
Because we thought it'd be funny, and it was also so clever that we couldn't not use it.
Yeah, we basically had to.
But this was sort of one of the games, like there's been games before this one, but this was the one that kind of caught a lot of people's interest and kind of sparked off, I hesitate to call it like a controversy.
Yeah.
It's more of like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Virtual fist fight?
Yeah, just like a sort of a debate.
Yeah,
like
conversation.
Yeah, conversation about like, you know, what's a video game? You know, are games? Is this a game? You know, or is it just like a thing?
Yeah.
So a lot of what I think we're going to be talking about today is like analyzing that, because I was saying earlier before we started the stream, what sometimes frustrates me the most about this conversation is that it's an interesting thing to think about, like, well, what makes a game, you know, where do those boundaries lie, you know, are they changing, all this other stuff, is that a lot of times when I'm talking about something, I will get drawn into that conversation and never get to talk about the thing that I wanted to say.
Yes, yeah.
Let's be like, can we not get snarled up in semantics and I can actually talk about this fucking game that I'm really interested in? We can have that discussion another time, which is now.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about that. So yeah, like, why did this game get the sort of attention, unwanted or not, that it did? And why did it, maybe not this one specifically, but like this sort of genre of game, coined the phrase walking simulator as a sort of like descriptor and also kind of a derisive
Yeah, I remember walking
word.
Simulator being used derisively.
Oh, it still is.
It's a pejorative term.
Yeah. Where it's just like, oh, you know, it's not a real game, you just walk around. And I mean, my response to that is just like, Cam, why do you play Quake?
To walk around and shoot things.
Why do you go to an art gallery?
To walk around and not shoot things. I guess there's a critical distinction there. One involves a gun in front of me.
Well, that's the thing, is that, like, this game, such as it is... Actually, before we even talk about that, we should probably talk about this in something that we touched on in the first episode, which is video games as a medium, in some ways being constrained by the actual, their own descriptor, like video game.
Right.
Right?
And video is kind of an archaic term.
That's what I was going to say, is like, Pac-Man is a video game. Overwatch is a digital video game, but nobody says that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not on a, it's like, you don't play Overwatch on a CRT, it's not on, like, you know, whatever the hell hardware they were using back in the day. Like, video is kind of an anachronism, but we still know what you mean when you
Yeah.
say it. The definition
Well, like
of that
the
is
same,
expanded.
similar to like film.
Yeah, film or movies. When you talk about a film,
Neomity.
Welcome.
Neomity.
Yeah. When you talk about a film, you could be talking about something that was shot digitally, but everybody knows what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the same is sort
Yeah.
of true
I
of video games.
Mhm.
But, there's something to be discussed there. You're
yeah.
gonna say.
Well, I was gonna say I think like for better or worse, video games is the term we're stuck with.
Yeah.
That it's not. I try to be utilitarian in my vocabulary, I guess, or in the terms I use, the definitions I use, and like. I don't know. It's still a very young medium.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where I come down on this whole thing. Like,
Pick a side. Civil War all over again. But like, what was I going to say? I left my notes behind. I'll have to go get them at some point. I think we're sort of at a crossroads in this medium right now where I think we either need to coin a new term that is more encompassing or more generic where it relates to these entities that we create, video games, interactive experiences, digital toys, all that stuff. Or the definition of video game needs to be expanded. And what I think is that the definition of video game, whether we like it or not, is being expanded.
yeah.
And it's just going to become it's going to become a generic term that just means, anything you have on a computer that you interact with using you interact with Dear Esther in the same way that you would interact with Quake,
Yeah.
but
Well,
what you're doing is different.
Well, because this is built in Half-Life 2, right?
Yeah,
this,
I think it is.
This started off as a Half-Life 2 mod,
Yeah,
didn't
and
it?
then they rebuilt it from the ground up to make it extraordinarily pretty.
Mm-hmm. But
So-
yeah, I think like video game is probably something that's going to stick with us, even when the idea of like a computer as a discrete thing that sits on a desk has gone away.
Yeah. Because, I think where this discussion sort of gets hung up is in the game part of video game. Because there's expectations of, a game. What's a game? It's a thing you play ostensibly for fun, maybe for competition.
Right.
And this, you're not like Dear Esther, you're not competing against anything. It's not really a fun game. But, you could say the same about chess. High-level competitive chess. I don't think those people are having fun.
You don't think so?
No, I think it's a very cerebral game. I think it's very, intense. But, I don't really ascribe mirth to that experience. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I could be told different by someone who actually does that.
Yeah, I don't like...
But all the same, people on the lower end of that spectrum, maybe Magic the Gathering is a better example here.
Yeah.
It's people on the very top end tables, you see them have those close losses, and it looks like their heart's being scooped out with a spoon.
Right.
Whereas people can approach it in a way where it's just oh, this is
Yeah,
fun. We're casting spells or wizards.
Like-
You see at the Pro Tour, people just doing this kind of thing. They're not having fun. They're freaking out.
Yeah. I mean, I think...
But
I'm
it's
not sure
still a valid experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I keep thinking of the Olympic fencers when the Olympics were in London, right? Watching the medal matches between fencers, right? And it's very intense, and then one person scores a point and they rip off their mask and they just they cheer, right? And it's it goes from being very intense to very celebratory.
Yeah,
And they look like they're having fun.
No, you're not wrong. It's the same thing happens in MMA, actually.
Yeah.
They're just game face on. They're wailing on each other. One guy gets the tap, and then he's just hey, and they hug.
Right.
So yeah, I could just not have. I'm trying to find an example here of, something in the context of a game,
Right.
that is not necessarily meant for entertainment. I think.
Well, I think that's easier to find with things like movies, right? Where you can very easily find movies that wring you out,
Yeah.
right? That aren't particularly enjoyable.
Well, yeah, like you said, that Room wasn't a fun experience.
Yeah, Room wasn't a fun movie to watch. It was a very good movie, but
Yeah.
it was in no way it was interesting, but it wasn't enjoyable.
Yeah. And what I think I'm getting at is that video games are headed in a direction where they are able to articulate a lot more experiences than just ones that are fun or competitive.
Yeah.
And the word game still carries with it that expectations. It's like, if you're not making a video game that's fun or competitive, why are you bothering? It's like, well, because I think this medium can do so much more.
Yeah.
But we're stuck with this term to refer to what it actually is.
Like, I mean, this is probably very similar to what comics went through, right? Where if you're not telling a superhero comic, then what are you doing with the medium?
Yeah, it's like, well, like, where's the villain? Where's the, like, the death ray? It's like, this is Mouse.
Yeah.
The villain's the Nazis.
Yeah.
So, and so there's going to be growing pains there, and like in some ways, there's a legitimate criticism to be made there for games that like don't meet a particular expectation. I think some people maybe approach this with the expectation that it would be like a video game.
Yeah,
and they were just like, "Where's the gameplay? This is bullshit."
Like, even if they went into it like knowing like the joke is often made that like you can't like headshot anyone in Dear Esther or trash talk anyone. And
well,
there's
I mean,
no
you could probably mod
multiplayer.
it.
But like, I think a lot of people may have gone into this game expecting it to be like, a
horror
first person
game,
or an
first
adventure
person?
game, or a puzzle game.
Yeah,
right.
Which is something that we're going to get into as we roll along, because the reason I picked these two games that we're going to play back to back is I wanted to talk about gameplay as it relates to like this sort of like experience and whether it has an enhancing or inhibiting effect on this type of sort of more narrative based, more exploration based, more atmospheric based game.
Okay.
Because
hold on, just 1 second. I'm taking my headphones off and I'm passing the cable under this other cable.
Fair. So yeah, like maybe we should just start talking about this, and then we can sort of ramble our way through here.
Yeah,
Let
let's
me make sure that this is set. Video. Yeah, this all looks like it's in order. Yeah, that's fine.
Is that the menu noises?
It sounds like Morse code.
Yeah.
Which is weird. So we'll start at the beginning.
Okay.
So I really, really liked this when I first played it.
Dear Esther,
I'll leave this to...
the gulls do not land here anymore. I've noticed that this year they seem to shun the place. Maybe it's the depletion of the fishing stock driving them away. Perhaps it's me. When he first landed here, Donnelly wrote that the herds were sickly, and their shepherds the lowest of the miserable classes that populate these Hebridean islands. 300 years later, even they have departed.
So here we are.
Yep.
That was cryptic. You know what this, right off the bat, really feels like?
What?
Playing a short story.
Okay.
Like if you were bodily crammed into a short story and just free to wander through the set piece that it was put against.
Right.
That would be how I sort of feel about this game.
Right. Okay. Can I point out one thing here?
Yeah, go for it.
Like when we started, we had nothing of our surroundings, right? Like we don't see what we're standing on.
See, yeah.
Right? So it takes like an actual decision.
Yeah. To sort of pivot around. You also point, you start pointing out at an obvious like landmark.
Yes.
Sort of, So these are like, for lack of a better word, gameplay decisions. So there is a form of gameplay at work here.
Yeah.
It's not anything based in combat or like points or crafting or any of that stuff. I think it's very subtle, but it's there. So a lot of the sensibilities that and things that were discovered in games like actually just Half-Life, for leading the player and stuff, is utilized in this game in a context where they're being sort of drawn into this experience the atmosphere is being related to them, and it's not centered around combat or crafting or
Well,
any of
there's
that
also the
stuff.
associate. Like we start off looking into the sun, right? So there's like you have the navigation point, but you're also like let's see what they do with the sun.
Yeah. Oh, also, I just wanted to say this. A lot of people will bring up the topic of fail states in games. I got your fail state right here.
Come back.
Cheeto Jack has just subscribed for 23
Welcome.
months. Thank you very much, Cheeto Jack.
You died. I mean, I'm joking here, but
Right.
But I just wanted to make that point.
Yeah.
So the gameplay, which we're just gonna call it gameplay, because we don't necessarily have maybe just like the interaction with this game, is entirely largely and entirely based around observation, which is something that it attracted me to the game in the first place, because it was like there's a lot of games that I've played where you're under duress in some way. Like you're always moving from one place to the next, and I see these locations that are exquisitely rendered like this, and I'm like, I want to look in those windows and check out all that stuff, but no, I have to get to the objective.
Right.
And I'm a little bit disappointed by that I'm never going to get to explore this town because I'm busy being shot at. But this is a game that facilitates that in its entirety, and they expended all of their effort trying to make the game look as good as possible, because what they saved on mechanics and animation and all that other stuff, they just poured into atmosphere and art direction. So you have this like very, very good looking island. It's still like Half-Life 2 engine, so this is maybe not aged amazingly well, but it still looks good.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
you
I
just-
buy this environment.
Yeah. It feels like a real place, you know? So, who the hell are we? What are we doing here? Are we just like a viewpoint, maybe?
Well, we have been given like a fairly obvious set of places to go here.
Yeah, I mean, that seems awfully tempting. See how, like, the top of the tower is framed against this path leading up?
Oh, yeah.
So we're being led. But, curiosity impels you. I like that the flashlight turns
just
on.
clicks on.
Yeah. So your curiosity is what leads you through this game. And, your interaction with it is being led into these places and just drawing your own conclusions about, like, what's going on, where the hell you are, what happened here. And then the narration that pops up every once in a while adds a little bit more. I think this is your first encounter with this paint. Pressing left click zooms in. Sheet music. See, I love this shit so much. Is you go in and you just start because in a game like this isn't just window dressing. Like, everything here is being put here for a reason. And you're left to sort of puzzle out what that reason is.
Vanquisher for 29 months. Thank you very much, Vanquisher.
Some sort of sheet music.
Deck of playing cards.
Lantern.
Storm lantern.
Like, wow. Glass all busted us. So somebody lived here at some point. Here we go. What the fuck does this mean?
Ethanol?
Is it ethanol?
Yeah, that's ethanol.
See, I didn't know that, but like, this fluorescent paint becomes a theme throughout this game, which is pretty wild. So you're like, huh, well, that's weird. And wordlessly, it draws you into another thread of, you're preying on your curiosity to drive you through this experience. So, like, we didn't hit any switches, we didn't pick up any keys or something, but just discovering this and wondering about it is the gameplay for this game. Clover Vibe. Welcome.
Oh, brand new subscriber. Welcome to
Hey.
the channel, Clover Vibe. Thank you very much. Wait, I thought they said no gulls.
Well, that one didn't get the memo.
Already it's lied to us.
But who has lied to us? Yeah, this paint is everywhere, by the way.
No, you can see it splattered on the ground, so maybe behind you?
Who would need this much paint? For what mad purpose? See, like, okay, so this is conspicuous
Yeah.
in its, like, quantity. You're just like, oh, maybe there's a little bit of paint, but there's, like, a shitload of this paint.
Yeah, somebody bought cases of it.
Yeah. Like, a really, really, really large amount of this exact same paint.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they do that? That's a weird thing to do. That's, like, kind of a weird thing. So there is a little bit of branching in this game. So I'm going to go left.
Okay.
I think you can just go straight up, but there's a beach over here that we can check out. Do you think video games could be used to teach art in schools? Totally.
Yeah?
I think it could absolutely be used for that purpose. I think video games actually, like, I think Extra Credits has a lot to say about this, that, like, gamifying learning is, like, really, really high-end secret tech. Because if you were to imagine if you could harness the addictive power of, like, an MMO to teach somebody their taxes or something, how effective that would be.
Right.
That would be amazing.
I can smell this place.
I know, right? So, you like, obviously, there's limitations to the engine. There's, like, a little bit of geometry that's, like, kind of... When did this game come out, actually?
2011?
So it's, like, 5 years old, but...
Yeah.
You know, the point here is that they're trying to, you know, they're setting a scene because the entire purpose of this is to, like, wander through this. I think we likened this genre of game to sort of being like an art installation.
Yeah.
That you can bodily inhabit and explore.
It's like a virtual museum.
Yeah, but
right?
Whereas an art installation would be limited to the size and the size of the space and the physics of Earth, you could do anything you want in a virtual space. And I think we're going to see a lot more of those where it's just like there's not like a point to being in these places apart from like, well, why do you go on holidays? Like, why do you tour these cities? It's like, actually, we're at the beach, so this thing I'm about to mention is going to make sense. You remember when you were a kid and you would go to the beach and the kids would be like running up and down the beach, finding sticks, you know, poking crabs, you know, throwing a ball back and forth and stuff. And the grown-ups would just fucking sit there.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
How are they enjoying this?
Right.
They seem pretty stoked about it, but they're not, you know, poking crabs and picking up sticks and like, throwing mud in your sister's hair. Why are they enjoying it? And on the other end of that equation, it's just like, how are they not tired?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, I'm just happy to be here and to take in this atmosphere and to just chill out and maybe go on like a nature hike. Or like if your parents dragged you to a museum and you were bored out of your mind and they're like, look at all this cool stuff. And you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then when you grow up a bit more, you're just like, oh, I get it now. You know, I think that these games are the same way. And like, in no way mean that as like an ageist comment that it's like only, you know, grown-ups can enjoy this kind of thing. But I'm just trying to frame this in a way where the purpose of this experience...
You need a bit of broader palette, I think, maybe, and that's it, right?
Yeah. Man, yeah, I'm getting such memories of like the beach near my house when I was little with like all the little bits of filth. Yeah, this place stinks. Which eventually with like full VR they'll be able to simulate that. I've only seen one movie in smell-o-vision. It was very weird. It was by Wim Wenders. Which was
I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it was wild. It was when I was in Japan. And they would spray scents at certain a character, this young girl, she was like peeling an orange and then you could smell the orange.
Oh,
and then they would like drive through a forest and you could smell pine.
Huh.
It was weird.
Well, I really love how like this beach is pointedly like covered in fucking like there's scraps of paper and garbage, right? This isn't...
Looks like a real beach.
Yeah, well, this isn't a pristine natural environment, right?
Yeah, like this. I wonder how much this
Like
was
there-
modeled off of an actual space.
Like there are crab traps and rope. And,
So yeah, like all these little details, lend themselves to the atmosphere. It's like, there's crab traps here. So at one point, people were trapping crabs here, but based on their age, that time has come and gone.
Yeah.
These are probably abandoned here at some point. But, it's like maybe this was part of a fishing village or something.
Mm-hmm.
These fuckers didn't clean up after themselves. I never played the mod that this was based on,
Mm-hmm.
but I get the sense that this added a whole lot of stuff that just really enhances the detail level and the sort of experience.
When you were born, your mother told me a hush fell over the delivery room. A great red birthmark
I guess
covered the
I'm
left
gonna
side of your
flip.
face.
Yeah,
No one knew what to say, so you cried to fill the vacuum. I always admired
but there's
you
a secondary one
that
if you want to
cried
flip
fill
us.
whatever vacuum
Nope.
you found. I began to manufacture vacuums just to enable you to deploy your
Yeah,
talent.
there we go.
The birthmark faded by the time you were 6 and had gone completely by the time we met, but your fascination with the empty and its cure remained.
So the narrator talking, just like almost kind of like random musings on someone he's fond of. It's like, oh, okay. Wonder who it is. Wonder why he's ruminating on these things. Are these actual footsteps? Or like, I don't remember. It's actually been a long time since I played this, so I may be discovering all these things over again. Like this.
Right, yeah, the golden ratio.
This is really cool. Just like, this is what I loved about this game. So I went wandering around and I was not disappointed when I found stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you went on like a nature hike, just like by yourself, just walking down the beach, just kind of thinking about life and all that sort of stuff, and then you came across something like this, that would be a great experience, right? So why not virtualize that? Why not engineer it in such a way that it creates that experience that you would have, being in a real space where there's no barriers in the way, as far as like actual like barricades between areas or something, and where you're just inhabiting this virtual world and sort of taking in its wonder. It is very much like, just going on a hike, going on a tour. That's why I kind of preferred calling these games tourism simulators, because actually this was one of the cutest things I ever heard, that there was this elderly couple who apparently got a copy of one of the more recent Assassin's Creed. Hang on.
Ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
Is that one? Yeah, they got a copy of one of the most recent Assassin's Creed games, and they would play it and not kill anybody, not do any objectives. They would just get in a boat and ride around Venice.
Right.
From the safety of their own home. And I was like, that's great. What if you just made a game that was just that? That would be amazing. I would play that. Just like talk to people. So, that's where the attraction to this kind of, that's a car lay here. How the hell did it get down here? I must have gone off the cliff or something. So, like, yeah, this kind of stuff is just, this is 100% my jam, is just like coming across elements like this and just like inferring what happened, because like they've been here for a long time. Maybe they're really fresh. Like when we were playing Kona yesterday,
Right.
and we went to a logger's cabin, and there was a wet toothbrush, which is just like someone left really quickly,
Right.
in a giant hurry.
Yeah.
And this like tells the sort of opposite thing. It's like this happened a long ass time ago, you know, it looks like something drove off a cliff.
Yeah.
And most of the parts have either washed away or been claimed. Environmental storytelling. More than just putting skeletons in toilets. Oh, tide pools. So...
Naked Crab has just subscribed for 29 months in a
Hey.
row.
Oh, I need to b-hop. So, I'm pretty sure that this is the end of the road
that.
for this way. So we can go back. I'll check it out. Or the guy who played GTA 5 with his young son drove around abiding traffic laws.
Huh.
See, that's really precious. I mean, like, that kind of emergent gameplay, to me, tells me that there's, like, a market or a need for that kind of experience to just be engineered from scratch, which is what I think these kind of games do.
Yeah. Well, like, I just want to point out, like, that the golden ratio scribed in the sand there, that's recent, right? Like,
It would have
only a
washed
couple of
away.
hours old.
Yeah. So, yeah, like the state of something can tell you when it happened, with the right set of eyes. I think games like this do also kind of leverage personal experience, because like if you've never been to a beach like this, I mean, it would be cool to inhabit this area if you'd never had that experience before.
Right.
But if you have, it can use sort of like shared experience to sort of set the scene. Like I said, that's why Cam and I know what this place is supposed to smell like. It's because we've been to a beach like this. And so that just has an enhancing effect on, you know, the space we're in. I love all the stuff growing out from between the stairs. This was made a long ass time ago. We are like real far away because like there's vestiges of civilization, of course, like the lighthouse, the boat and stuff, but we feel very remote. Except for that.
Yeah, the radio tower.
The radio tower means electricity.
Yeah.
The radio
And
tower
it's,
means...
it's clearly functioning, so somebody is...
Yeah, somebody's been maintaining it in some way. I bet this is for the goats. Or was for the goats.
A wonderful sight. The moon cresting the junction between the cliff path and the stone circle. It cast a shadow of the ridge across the beach, all the world as if you had signed your name in untidy handwriting.
Your name is Golden Ratio? So, after that little detour, we're sort of drawn towards this. Like, merely by power of curiosity. Like, because curiosity, at least for myself, it's a very powerful motivating factor. It's like, you give me a compelling mystery or, like,
When someone had died,
something like that.
dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boat, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff path died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
It's awfully cryptic and spooky. Because, like, the little blurbs from the narrator, they start off kind of vague and just kind of like musings,
Right.
and then they gradually start like
becoming more explicit.
Yeah, and focusing in on like, okay, this is what's up. Such dense foliage, and like different kinds of foliage.
Yeah.
What is this kind of rock called? It's like it's not a menhir, is it? No, that's like
I don't know.
a Gaulish thing. I learned that from Asterix,
Asterix?
and Obelix. Fuck knows if that's still an actual thing that they do. What can we see from
They
here?
were God-fearing people, those shepherds. There was no love in the relationship. Donnelly tells me that they had one Bible that was passed around in strict rotation. It was stolen by a visiting monk in 1776, 2 years before the island was abandoned altogether. In the interim, I wonder, did they assign chapter and verse to the stones and grasses, marking the geography with a superimposed significance, that they could actually walk the Bible and inhabit its contradiction?
Interesting. God, having like just one Bible to go around, it's just like, no, it's my turn. I want to get closer to God. You're hogging it. So, in a sense, you're sort of on rails. Like, there's a couple of areas where you can sort of branch off and kind of get a little bit of additional exploration. But you are sort of funneled to, you know what this is a little bit like in the like amusement park rides where it like drives you through, but you choose the pace.
Yeah, or like a fun house.
Yeah, exactly. A fun house that isn't full of shitty clowns and jump scares.
Yeah.
It's just like, what if we made a fun house that was like actually just like a very somber kind of, you know, exploratory experience rather than shitty clowns and jump scares.
Yeah.
That's all those things are, right? Or like in Halloween, you have the fun house where like some teenager is like hiding behind a panel with like a rubber chainsaw.
Yeah.
And he just like bursts out and grabs you. A no fun allowed house. So here we are heading towards some more stuff to check out. Like there's just
Yeah, or a museum.
yeah.
I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
The museum metaphor is actually good, but what if all the exhibits in the museum were lined up in a specific way to tell a story?
Well, I mean, in a lot of they are, right?
Well, they'll often do like chronological, so like humankind's history,
right?
Because there is a story that exists, and like putting those in sequence, you'll just be like, you know, and then here's where we found iron, and then like here's where we killed all these motherfuckers, here's where we invaded these motherfuckers, and then they invaded us back, and blah 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 blah, and then Pokemon.
Yeah. Right.
But if you were to do the same thing, but you know, tell like, you know, a short story like this.
Yes. Oh, and Aaron points out that bonnet here is the trunk, right?
Right. Really?
Yeah, of a car.
I thought it was boot.
Or is that the hood? Sorry, a bonnet is the hood and the boot is
the hood.
Okay, yeah.
And boot's the rear.
Which is alluding to a car accident.
Ah. So we could go this way, but
or we could go cave.
Cave. I'm compelled by cave.
I find myself increasingly unable to find that point where the hermit ends and Paul and I begin. We are woven into a sodden blanket, stuffed into the bottom of a boat to stop the leak and hold back the ocean. My neck aches from staring up at the aerial. It mirrors the dull throb in my gut where I am sure I've begun to form another stone. In my dreams, it forms into a perfect representation of Lot's wife, head over her shoulder, staring along the motorway at the approaching traffic in a vacuum of fatalistic calm.
Ooh, we are starting to get into something heavy here.
So here we have a neuron.
It looks
again ethanol.
But it looks like ethanol combined with like weird branches or something.
So now that we've heard about a car accident and we see ethanol scribed everywhere.
And here's this paint.
Yeah, which he alluded to earlier being part of a shipment that washed up on shore.
Yeah, and so here's
a sleeping bag.
So, without saying a word, someone spent all night here
Yeah.
painting this shit.
Yeah.
Probably by hand, because
Yeah.
I don't see any instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And it being splattered everywhere, sort of like...
Yeah, it's very chaotic.
It's chaotic and impassioned.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting a sort of, like... There's signs of madness here.
Well, yeah, and I mean, with the biblical allusions that the writer is making, or the narrator is making too, we can kind of assume like a very ecstatic, maybe, experience.
Yeah, so here's...
Fish and bread.
Yeah, they stayed here all night. And
Loaves and fishes.
Oh, shit, you're right!
Yeah. I mean, so what?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
so what? Maybe that's just, like... This is just visual shorthand for food.
Yeah.
Or provisions.
And then a change of clothes.
Or maybe just left behind.
Yep.
So the tree... So this area just goes in, loops, out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just meant to come in here, spend as much time as we want investigating it.
Yeah.
You know, drawing our own conclusions.
Yeah,
and-
neuron with axion and myelin sheath.
I'm so glad you're here, because like I just thought these were like, hey, this is a diagram for chemistry of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what you get out of this game, some of it depends largely on what you bring into it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of intertextuality going on here.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, basically a $4 word for, you know, you get out what you bring in.
$4 word. Is ethanol drinkable?
Ethanol is drinkable. Ethanol is the kind of alcohol that gets you drunk. Or, yeah.
There's that bird again. It is flying off towards where we know the tower is.
Yep.
So it's still just like, rather than like put an arrow or like a marker or something like that, it's just like, go that way.
Yeah.
You want to go that way.
Yeah.
Which I really love, because it's the kind of event that you could believe actually happening here, but the intent is obviously to guide the player, you know, without beating them over the head.
Which is the alcohol that kills you? All of the other alcohols.
So like methanol,
Yeah. Well, not all of the other alcohols, but most of them.
not super good for you.
Yeah.
Ethanols, drink methanols. I wonder how many college kids found that out the hard way.
It's not the college kids. It's the people who make stills in their back 40.
Oh, right. They're like, I'm pretty sure I got this right.
Oh, well, yeah, you don't drink lab-grade ethanol because it's made industrially and, like, it has trace amounts of transition metals in it from the process used to make
That's
it.
horrible. So, once again, as just in case you hadn't got it yet, and that they're probably going to keep hammering on this, as you approach up this hill, it frames
Yeah, the radio tower.
the radio tower. You know, it's like it's practically painting an X on it, but you're just like, oh, okay, that's a thing. I should go check it out. I love visual storytelling so much. I mean, I'll go on and on at length, but you know, because I'm sort of from a comic and movie making background, I fucking love that shit. It's interesting we don't have
I dreamt I
footsteps.
stood in the center of the sun, and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside. My teeth will curl, and my fingernails fall off into my pockets like loose change. If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. Were the livestock still here, I could turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a premature source of death. I've rowed to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
He's not in good shape.
Nope.
So it's interesting to think. It's like, who is this narrator? It's like, is it us? Are we just like an observation point that's following in their footsteps? Are we retracing them?
Well, I mean, if we're not the narrator, then who is? Right? Where does it come from?
Because unlike in Dark Souls, where the narration at the beginning was like it was like any old lady
Yeah.
relating the lore of the world. This is
Yeah.
a specific person relating their own
Yeah.
experiences that we are party to.
Yeah, like, and as you pointed out earlier, we don't have footsteps.
Or feet.
Yeah.
But we have a flashlight.
We do. Ah. Uh,
I don't know.
looks like a Are those N's or H's?
Ends? They look like ends.
I wouldn't want to touch that.
Oh, yeah?
I don't recognize it right off the bat.
Stranger danger. Oh, almost forgot that.
Units 3, chemistry.
So, like, there's little tiny details that you really have to look for that are almost like the little treasures. Like, you can't pick them up and get, like, a little +1 point or whatever, but it's just like...
Yeah, actually, can we go back to that?
To this?
Somebody was saying it's Hebrew. Yeah, those are alephs, not anything else.
Oh, that's... Really?
Yeah. Yeah, aleph ka, right? Like the circle with the dot.
So then we're really, like, crossing, you know, religion, chemistry, science. Yeah. So that's fascinating. I dig it. Now, can we go over this way? Or do we want to go over this way? Because there's a prescribed path, and then I think that you are able to... Oh, this might be where that car ditched off.
Well, it's not caffeine. I know what caffeine looks like.
It is, look.
Yeah.
So this was up where we looked.
Hmm.
So something, I guess, went, excuse me, careening down here. Are there any more fragments, maybe? Cabal alchemy. God damn it. That's silly.
Like, with that many OHs, I'm tempted to say it's a sugar, but sugars are...
So I imagine we are meant to go through here. So let's have a look. I don't... I can't imagine car parts showing up with the tide, namely because they don't float.
No.
Like, tire maybe. Like, inflated car tires would float, but...
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the rims, I don't think they float. And definitely not a transaxle.
Yeah.
So, I imagine that would have crashed here.
Apple Guard
welcome
for
back.
28 months.
Nitrous oxide and car crash? Maybe?
No, it's not nitrous oxide.
Old video game trick.
A place where you can drop down but not get out of?
Yeah. So,
right.
And
it actually
it's
cuts.
loading the next area as well.
Right.
But yeah, that's a very old video game trick. Is like
Dear
you just
Esther,
leave it.
I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my ordnance survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
That's a strange thing to say. Why would you drive that length 21 times? This is all longhand for obsession.
He drove it an odd number of times.
Really? That's...
Yeah. 21 times. So he ended his trip not at home. Right?
Shit. That's heavy. So here we go. We have, again, left and right. Let's go left first, because I think we can oversee this rack here. Yeah, some of this is just like texturing, but there's occasional little bits and pieces of stuff. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, so like, the medium of video games offers you a lot of abilities you would really struggle with in any other medium. Like, things like music cues happening on interactions and at certain junctures is something that you can't achieve in other mediums. Like in a film, the music happens at the important part as it goes forward along its one prescribed route that you're spectating to.
Right.
The advantage of interactive medium is that like the player gets to experience those things and set off those events, whether they know they're doing it or not, and that can really lend itself to some interesting situations. It's like it's used. I'm trying to think of some really good examples of just like like the cheesy one is you open the locker and there's a jump scare inside.
Right.
I've begun to wonder if Donnelly's voyage here was as prosaic as it was presented. How disappointed not to have found the bones of the holy man. No wonder he hated the inhabitants so. To him they must have seemed like barnacles mindlessly clinging to a mercy seat. Why cling so hard to the rock? Because it is the only thing that stops us from sliding into the ocean. Into oblivion.
What?
So I've actually gone and looked it up.
Oh yeah,
Because I was curious. It's an unknown chemical formula.
Ah.
But Aleph Kaf is because Hebrew is also it was used for numerals as well as letters, is 21. So maybe we should pay attention to 21.
Yeah, we should. If 21 is a recurring number. This is interesting.
Yeah, a buoy. A boy.
A buoy.
Sorry.
Oh shit, it's that boy.
It's that boy.
so sorry. So like this one's yellow. That one's red.
But like
I wonder why we're able to look at that.
sorry, we just missed a sub.
Did we?
The alert played.
Check it. Ah, here's a switchback. So this is interesting because we're offered like the obvious choice, which is to just go and check out this wreck, and then the slightly less obvious choice, which leads us to something else. Maybe this buoy is relevant. Maybe it's just scenery.
Right.
But we're left to sort of wonder: is it a red herring? Who was it?
I cannot find the sub.
Is the sub notifier open?
Hungry Hobo has just
Hey!
subscribed for the first time. Brand new
Welcome
subscriber.
to the stream.
Thank you very much, Hungry Hobo.
Yep.
And also, if we hadn't thanked Appleguard, I feel like we may have missed Appleguard.
Appleguard, you get.
Yeah.
Oh, there it
wait,
is.
10 months in a row.
Hey,
Okay, yes.
Lamau. We got.
Sorry,
there.
our notifier is.
It's a little fucky.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I remember when you were talking about like a museum piece and cueing music and other like triggers on specific like events or places.
Registry of the Family Division.
Well, let's look up what that means.
And what it's doing here. So I think there's just like bits of cargo. Is it divorce paperwork? Holy shit.
Okay. Yeah, and 21 makes sense with golden ratio.
Yeah.
Is it a
See, I'm so glad you're here to do that. I wouldn't even think of doing half of this stuff. So let's drive ourselves over here. Could be all the stuff from the car. So I imagine, is this where the paint came from?
I think it's implied to be.
The paint and yogurt, which was weird.
Yeah.
So there's
21
always...
21 is not a prime. It's a Fibonacci number, yeah.
All right. Well, there's a whole lot of shit here. Jeez, okay, so the distance up. Oh, this is really great. Okay, Cam. The distance up this sort of shoal, I guess,
Yeah.
that the cargo has been washed, tells me how fucking fierce the storm was.
Right.
For this barrel to have washed up here
Yeah.
when the wreck is down there, that was one hell of a storm.
Well, the Hebrides are not easy places to live, right?
Yeah, so this was that was quite a bluster that did all this. I hope the crew got out in time.
Well, the life preservers are still attached.
Yeah. Oh, here's the paint.
Yeah.
So there must have. I mean, it kind of. So yeah, that explains where the paint came from.
Mm-hmm.
So it was here when he arrived, and I guess it was just a thing that he happened across. As like, well, let's make some finger paintings, because I am fixated on something involving a car crash.
Mm-hmm.
And the number 21.
Well, the Hebrides are off the north coast of Scotland, right?
Ah.
There's a great description in Cryptonomicon about one of the characters arriving in the Hebrides, and he says he can see the island he's going to through the scupper that he's vomiting on through the ship. Sometimes, because the ship is sometimes like that vertical that he can see just forward
Gross.
out of the bottom of the scupper.
That's messed up. Now, what's this little vessel over here?
Yeah. 7 and 3 are both important numbers in Christian mythologies or in Christian numerology.
Yeah. Oh, I knew there was a reason to
There
come
must
over
be a
here.
hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
So, line in the sand. Now that looks like a electronics diagram.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this theme of just like chemistry and religious iconography and electronics just all sort of like meshing together into this weird kind of cryptic language of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe signifying nothing other than kind of the way your thoughts sort of swirl in your head when you can't make sense of something and are trying every permutation and combination and what have you to try and make sense of it.
Apparently it's a diode.
Kind of diodes you would have in a car, I bet. Well, they're in everything, but
Well, I imagine
Diode
we'll
of
get
it.
more into electronics later.
I had kidney
If-
stones, and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
there it is. Oh dear. So we now have a much more explicit kind of
Yeah.
explanation that his wife was killed in a car crash, and that he's presumably come to this island to try and work his shit out.
What charnel house lies at the foot of this abyss? How many dead shepherds could fill this hole?
Tarkus has just subscribed.
Welcome.
Brand new subscriber. Thank you, Tarkus. Welcome to the channel. And someone in chat has pointed out that diagram is specifically for a light-emitting diode.
Oh,
So for, yeah, an LED.
yeah. That's a big old pit. How many shepherds could fill this hole? So what we're starting to get the little vestiges of is a picture of someone utterly broken by this event who's just like fucked off to the remotest location imaginable.
Well, and like the idea of
Iron Man Phoenix!
Iron Man
welcome.
Phoenix, well, 29 months. Wow, thank you very much. Also, like, you know, while we're on the Christian mythology thing, he keeps talking about shepherds and how the shepherds are all gone from this island. Right? That's a fairly significant bit of Christian symbolism there when the shepherd is left and all the sheep are gone.
Yep.
Right? This is it's a very desolate place.
It
Not
is.
only like physically but spiritually.
Yeah. Someone else was mentioning that despite the buoys and everything being around, the shipwrecks means that your chances of being rescued from this place are not super high.
Yeah.
But I don't think you came here expecting to be rescued.
Mm-hmm.
So, here again...
Well, like, he's explicitly warded off rescue.
Yeah.
Right? He talks about carving the lines in the cliffs.
Ah, right.
Right?
So, so you can sort of see just over the horizon the light tower, but also this object, which is another point we're being drawn
on the
towards.
windless slope of the western side. The setting sun was an inflamed eye squeezing shut against the light shone in by the doctors. My neck is aching through constantly craning my head up to track the light of the aerial. I must look downwards, follow the path under the island to a new beginning.
I don't remember if it's in here or in that house. There was something interesting. There we are.
Ah, syringe.
Very, very small details. You really have to hunt for them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all the more rewarding when you do find them. How annoying would this game be if an a Chivo popped up every time you found that shit? You're like, oh my god! Fuck off! Jesus. That's not a small number of syringes. Morphine, heroin, maybe?
Antibiotics for sheep.
Yes. 100%.
Then again, he does mention this place being abandoned in the 18th century.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, this is a place where the shepherds had their Bible stolen, and then themselves left.
Yeah,
Right?
they left a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Insulin, maybe? Maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of things there's a lot of legitimate things to
The
inject.
Bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jacobson, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the Bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
What's a bothy?
A bothy is a basic shelter, usually left unlocked and available for anyone to use free of charge.
You mean like this?
Yep.
I think it's the one on the hill, but...
So what was the...
So those are...
that's the same...
Those are diodes, again.
Yeah, they're diodes, but this time in the shape of the ethanol molecule we saw earlier.
That's really cool. And interesting.
Well, it's synthetic.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, you sort of see, it's the kind of thing that, like, a fictional crazy person would draw, but that has some sort of, like, motivation behind it.
Yeah,
you can follow the logic.
Yeah, there was a...
It's like, but what if I did it this
thought,
way? Yeah.
Right?
Sort of... I guess this must be it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a look inside. Get ye to the bothy.
Well, it's LEDs instead of bonds, right?
So there's that, whatever the hell it is again.
I think
It looks
that's
like
the
some sort
axon.
of...
Or the axon is the space in between linking two neurons.
It doesn't quite look like it, but it looks
No.
like some sort of biological thing. Like a cell,
Yeah.
maybe a parasite. Oh boy. Okay,
Three
so...
cormorants seen at dusk, they did not land. This house built of stone, built by a long-dead shepherd. Contents: my camp bed, a stove, a table, chairs, my clothes, my books. The caves that score out the belly of this island, leaving it famished. My limbs and belly famished. This skin, these organs, this failing eyesight. When the battery runs out in my torch, I will descend into the caves and follow only the phosphorescence home.
Oh dear. Okay, so there's a shitload of stuff in here.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like some sort of like maybe journal pages. There's tons of this paint. There's another one of those books. A wash tub. Possibly used, possibly not used. So this is like a crappy kind of hovel, but you could have conceivably lived here.
Yeah.
Is there a bed? Oh, all the tins. Because what kind of food could you bring to such a place
Yeah.
and expect it to last? Tins and bottled water.
Mm-hmm. Can we have a look at the sheet music on the table?
Yeah. Is that right side up? I can't jump up on the table.
Yeah, that's right side up.
There you go.
With my vast musical knowledge, I totally failed to recognize it.
Well,
An ultrasound.
oh shit. That's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hebridean history.
it's a lot of really, really big books. There's another ultrasound.
Mm-hmm.
This chair positioned carefully to face out the window.
Yeah.
with
Look up at the tower.
Yeah, tower in view, and also probably the sunrise, sunset.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what direction we're facing, but I imagine so.
Anarin says that judging by the cover of the music, it could be Mendelssohn.
Could be. So
I mean, ultrasounds aren't just used for, like, looking at feti, right?
yeah, it could be anything.
Well,
Actually,
it's
no.
specific. It's also what you use to find kidney stones,
Oh, of course, that would make sense.
right?
Yeah, because they've not made any reference to an infant in this,
Yeah.
so it's probably his own kidney stones. So
And then burning the other history books.
maybe because he's out of fuel, or maybe
Yeah.
because he wants to destroy it. It could be either. Oh, look at that. Now, is that the same thing written over and over again?
I can't tell.
Maybe. But yeah, you've got like all the basic amenities of someone who could live here
yes.
like a hermit.
Mendelssohn wrote the Hebrides.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Got there.
Alpha Channel has just subscribed
Perfect.
for 12 months. Thank you very much. 1 year anniversary.
Oh yeah, so you can. So this is probably a good place to see the sunset,
Mm-hmm.
just behind the hill. Whew. Somebody's having a bad time. Very, very bad time.
Well, stones is usually just shorthand for kidney stones.
Yeah, I hear those are awful.
I've heard they're one of the most painful things that you can have.
It's like, okay, you need to pee a rock now.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what? Oh, it has spikes.
Shaped like your insides.
Oh god. Ugh. So down we go. Is that the cave he was referencing? I'm not sure. We might be going around. Because he made mention to once all his shit runs out.
Yeah,
that he was going to just head downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And away, I imagine. Face God and walk backwards into hell. Oh. Oh shit, look. So here's the difference between an old ship and an ancient ship.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
we saw a wreck before.
But those are
the bones of like a schooner or something from a real long time ago.
yeah.
You know, you can just barely sort of make it out. How much further along can we go?
Jakobsen's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
We'll get a much closer view. Let me see if I can see it from here.
So well, now you can see the mast.
Yeah, and like that reference to an actual rib cage, mirrored sort of by
The ribs of the ship.
Yeah. It's actually kind of haunting how ancient wrecks like this look like a skeleton.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. It struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in a delirium, and expired, curled into a claw right under the winter moon. Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot, but he is proving an unreliable witness.
So I think that there was a hermit here before our narrator arrived. And
Yeah, well, that seems to be Donnelly.
yeah, he met a sticky end. This must be... Oh, so, like, I imagine that this was from the freighter earlier, but it just floated here. Because, like, it's
yeah,
scattered all across the
Yeah,
beach.
well, these shipwrecks are blurred together.
Yeah, that too. It's so wasteful. Aha! Here we go.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Oh dear. So he's struggling through kidney stones. Busted his leg, and it's like, well, guess this is it for me. Better make it good. Now this is interesting.
Yeah.
That's recent.
Yeah.
Like, most of the stuff here is being old, but like
That's...
no
yeah.
no more than like what, 8 hours?
Maybe, yeah.
If
Well,
that.
like the diagram in the sand, right?
Yeah.
Or yeah, the syringes being for morphine, for pain.
Yeah.
He went back to the bothy.
Probably
And then this descent into, like,
something.
a pit.
We
Yeah, and again, like another form of agony, right? Kidney stones, then a broken femur.
Did Jakobsen crawl this far? Can I identify the scratches his nails ruined into the rocks? Am I following him cell for cell, inch for inch? Why did he turn back on himself and not carry through to the ascent?
Wow. So now we're here. Wherever this is. This was like the first time I came here, I thought this was staggeringly beautiful.
Oh, it is.
It still is, you know. There's more of these candles here. But yeah, you can see the reflections. It looks like it goes down forever. Like it's just like this endless pit, which is kind of unnerving. Is this the phosphorescence he was talking about?
Well, look how far we fell.
Yeah, that's a long distance. Surprised we're alive, actually.
Anonymouseless just subscribed.
Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Got a
Yeah.
bunch of new people.
Thank you
today.
very much.
So this looks like natural phosphorescence. I don't know if this
Yeah.
is an actual... It looks like lichen. of some sort. And then, contrasted against it, you have
the
the paint again, which looks like they're doing neurons, maybe trees again.
yeah.
This unearthly kind of light. Let's sort of look around it. Well, let's follow in his footsteps.
Glitched Prophetess has just subscribed. Thank you very much, Glitched Prophetess. Welcome to the stream. Brand new subscriber.
These little mushrooms.
And like in Dark Souls and a lot of other games here, distance fallen or ascended
Has meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, following the literal descent, right after the narration sort of relating the story of
like wanting to die,
yeah,
right?
to this
Like literal low point.
yeah. Oh, I see how this goes. Holy shit.
And again, like the reference he made earlier to the shepherds assigning Bible verses and chapters to
The locations.
to the standing stones and the rocks, so that they could like have their pilgrims process through the Bible, right, in their day-to-day lives.
So, this is what happens when you devote every bit of the project's resources to, like, one thing, which is, like, the look. And this isn't just, like, pretty stuff. It's meant to sort of, enhance the experience, It's just, like, the sense of wonder that you get exploring this space, even though nothing happens here, you experiencing that is what's happening here. So,
There is no other direction, no other exit from this motorway. Speeding past this junction, I saw you waiting at the roadside, a one last drink in your trembled hands.
Circuit diagrams.
more circuit diagrams. Yeah, there's the paint again.
But look up at that circuit diagram. How do you get up there? How do you suppose you get up there? Do you wait for the tide to come in?
I don't know. Do you climb one of these stalactites and balance? So you're seeing, before there was like a couple of these here and there. Now there's like a lot more of them, which sort of, is...
Like time spent.
Yeah, time spent, a kind of, not exacerbation, there's a word I'm looking for, of something like ramping up. Escalation.
Okay, yeah. Captain Rasputin has just subscribed. Brand new
Welcome.
subscriber. Thank you very much.
So there's a whole lot of little symbols here. So are those electronics?
Yeah, those are batteries. I think. I didn't do a lot of laboratory electronics.
Let's see.
Those are transformers, I think.
Or yeah.
Yeah, step
or-
up, step down for voltages.
And then there's like just like a tree.
more diodes and yeah.
Like tree growing out of the diode.
Capacitors? Okay.
Yeah, so like all this stuff is sort of blending together and like getting more. The splatters are more prominent. So this is something that was drawn. Like.
Well, yeah, and I definitely get like a sense of like this being. Someone in chat said it was like a holy place, right? And there's definitely an element of the ecstatic to these, right? These aren't precisely drawn. These are.
Yeah, there's passion to them.
Yeah.
What a strange place. So you'll notice, like, we were in no way compelled or required to go in there. We were, again, only drawn by our curiosity. Like, we could have just like hairpinned like this.
Right.
Let's see the world record speedrun in this game. But it's just like, it's Edgarware.exe. Welcome.
Thank you very much. 29 months.
Yeah. But, like an art installation, like a museum, like a tourist location, you want to go see everything.
Yeah.
Because that's the point of being in this space is to experience it. And you want to wring, if it gives you, what I found is if it gives you enough interesting things to see, you want to wring every last little inch out of it and shove it in your eyes as hard as you can.
People are pointing out that that room was heart-shaped.
Oh, fuck. Was it?
Yeah.
Well, this is
And
gorgeous.
is this the pit? The shepherd pit?
I don't think it is.
Oh, no, it
It's
has a
different
roof.
one.
Yeah.
Nice work, Half-Life 2 engine.
Hmm.
It's working hard today. Well, shall we take the plunge?
Is there any other way?
Of course not.
A speed run of the Louvre.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's how I...
You just see a guy like running
Just like a-
backwards through it, and he flips through a wall.
I want to see a naked man, like, run into the corner where the Mona Lisa is and, like, fly up out of the Louvre and, like, hit the
Yeah.
top of the Eiffel Tower. Speedrun tourism of Paris. It's like, okay, so my splits are pretty good on here, and he like taking a drag on his vape. It's like, I think we can get through, the Champs-Élysées pretty quick today. The RNG fucked me on these exhibits, but I think we'll be okay today. The endless flow.
I was going to say that this is like very disorienting, right? That you can't really tell which way is up. The water actually, like, gives you a baseline.
Shit, you're right. Yeah, because like it kind of grounds you because you can tell. Yeah, as you said, and also light leading the player being a very standard practice among video game designers now. In this case, leading the player to more stuff to explore as opposed to like health kits or something. Both are legitimate.
Yeah,
But it's interesting seeing those design elements used in this way to a narrative end rather than like a mechanical end. Damn. Watch your step.
Yeah, this place feels exquisitely dangerous.
Yeah. Like, this is probably so slippery with algae. Three-minute Louvre. Yeah.
Yeah, like the sound in here is great.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, did we go down and then up?
I think we did.
Maybe. There's not all these candles.
Are they votives?
So we should leave a soapstone message, yeah. Yeah, Half-Life 2...
leave a substance.
Yeah.
Nice view. Try jumping.
Yeah, Half-Life 2 is probably a game we might get to because it's very traditional in sort of like gameplay, being like a first-person shooter, but in its sort of storytelling and player leading and all that other stuff, it was pretty trend-setting. And I mean,
it was.
Yeah, it was an important game. I mean, Half-Life 1 was like that. In fact, it was one of the more successful games that tried to add narrative to a first-person game without using any cutscenes. Holy shit! I forgot about this place.
Well, and then we have the choral kick in. Somebody nowhere has just subscribed for 12 months, 1 year anniversary.
Following the line of infection from the shattered femur towards the heart. I swallow fistfuls of painkillers to stay lucid. In my delirium, I see the twin lights of the moon and the Ariel shining to me through the rocks.
Moon, Ariel.
Yeah, and into this, like, vaulted, cathedral-like space,
Yep.
right?
This is gorgeous. But yeah, it does have that kind of look of someplace like very important, venerable, as you said, vaulted like unto a cathedral. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Well, we're gonna see if we can find it. like there's so many parallels you could draw, many of which I'm sure the designers intended, many which are unintended that might just be as legitimate. You know, it's like you could see these. It's like, you know, stars, neurons, you just like motes of light, what have you. There we go. Got there. Here's another one.
Yeah.
This one looks more like a regular circuit diagram. So I'm really eager to see what the hell this is.
Those are gull eggs.
And there's more. What's this?
It looks like another ultrasound?
I think that's an X-ray. It looks like a foot.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I imagine that's his wife.
Yeah, it's a Polaroid.
Another X-ray or ultrasound.
That looks like an ultrasound.
Yeah, probably of the kidney stones. Now that's interesting. Would they have a nest all the way down here?
Well, I mean, like, if we're
Huh.
making a pilgrimage of this guy's ruined body, right?
Gotta break a couple eggs.
Like, I mean, like, this is all great, so what? Like, what's being told here? What's the message being conveyed? Right? Like, if we're actually moving through the body of the narrator, what are we getting at?
Well, it's on its way out.
Another diagram on your right? No, left.
Oh, there it is. There it is. N Huts, where N is.
No, nitrogen.
Ah.
That was,
Eggs, ultrasound, wife. Maybe. I don't know if they ever make explicit reference to that, but that is a reading that I could get out of that.
yeah.
His mind is already breaking now, his body is as well. There's more paint splatter. Here we go. Yeah, like this, the tree roots growing up into a neuron is pretty wild. The descent into could hunger hobo, could the descent into the body represent a search for oneself inside their own body? Sounds pretty compelling to me.
Seems reasonable.
Ooh, this looks
More of these crystals.
I think I'm definitely checking this out first.
This is a drowned man's face reflected in the moonlit waters. It can only be a dead shepherd who has come to drunk drive you home.
So, I find myself in these games like really regulating my own pace through them because like I'll stop and like look at stuff. Are these coins?
Yeah, they look
Oh,
like it.
shit, they are!
They're Roman coins.
Oh my god.
I think. I
There's-
don't know why I said the Roman.
No,
I don't know.
They do look Roman. Like, look at these are really old.
Mhm.
This is a wishing well.
Yeah. Well, let's look up. Is this the shepherd hole?
It might be. It could be a shepherd hole. But this is definitely a wishing well.
Oh, I think the place he drove back and forth looking for was the place where his wife died,
Yeah,
right?
looking for something. Maybe an explanation, maybe closure,
Yeah.
or just not sure what I'm looking for, but there's something.
Yeah, the
Why
place
did
has to
this
have
happen?
significance, right? Like, if this is a game that's concerned exquisitely with locale,
Yeah.
right? With places. Behold, Damascus
I can't make out the rest.
taken.
Holy shit. Okay, so escalation, as I was mentioning before. We saw like a couple of these, then a bunch. Now, fuck. And now they're all blending together. So you have the neurons, the
The
chemistry
alcohol,
diagrams.
yeah.
The alcohol, the
electronics diagrams.
the trees, and just everything's in this like.
Okay, so sorry, the one that looks like two coils separated by parallel lines, is that a transformer? Yeah, the road to Damascus, right?
It's a weird road. Chester Copperpot? I don't know what that is.
Yes, a transformer,
This
right?
one?
Okay, yeah, because like that one you saw earlier in isolation.
Yeah. Oh, what does this say? Away from being.
A city. Well, I mean, we're allowed to do this. Let's Google it.
Yeah, go for it. And it shall be
A ruinous heap. Isaiah 17, chapter 17, verse 1, a prophecy against Damascus. Let's go with King James. The burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a ruinous heap.
Is Damascus in this case referring to himself?
Well, he referred to being on, like, this island was his Damascus.
Ah! These weird little tendrils hanging down.
Yeah, the road to Damascus was Paul's origin, I think. Yeah, he's named Paul. Well, the drunk driver was named Paul. He goes to visit Paul.
You know, yeah.
The man with the dented bonnet.
Right.
And bonnet is also what a pilgrim wears.
Yeah, so he's...
Right, so if you have a dent in your bonnet.
Yeah, this really seems to be like a struggle to find meaning in something that's ultimately meaningless.
Well, yeah.
Like, his wife was killed by a drunk driver for no reason, but, like...
there's the Aleph Kaf again on the painted above you on the tunnel.
Like, how do you cope with something like that? You can't, so you have to try and find meaning. It has to mean something, even if, you have to invent that meaning. And that seems to be the what's happening here. It's just like this struggle, just like all these permutations, just like trying to figure out the exact solution. It's like this, had to happen for a reason.
Right.
So.
Acts 22. Acts chapter 22.
22:0?
Yep.
See, I didn't look up any of this.
Oh my god.
Bible Hub? This Bible Hub has really, really bad UI. Whoa, what the hell?
22. Well, there is no verse 0.
Why is this? Oh, here, click.
I clicked the wrong
There we
thing.
go. Okay, it's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's cool.
Acts 2:20. Right. No, it's definitely Acts 22:0.
Weird.
Which, doesn't really exist.
I mean, you could try 220. Stream got smited. Well, you ready for another descent?
Which 22:1 reads, Men, brethren, and fathers, hear ye my defense, which I make unto you now. Right? So what if we imagine a prelude to that?
I don't know.
Right?
Oh, shit. Okay, Cam.
Oh, and then we jump in the pool and we're suddenly...
underwater on... I wonder what motorway this is. And I wonder what that is up ahead. We can probably see it. This is motorway.
Oh, well, yeah, 2210.
God. Are you getting the symbolism yet?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
It's fine. So there's coins, the remains of a car, including the door, a gurney. Shit.
So if he's referring to this island as his Damascus, but this is a place that is, like, explicitly spiritually, like, stripped, right?
Yeah.
This is a place as far from salvation as he can imagine existing.
Oh god, it's covered in these coins.
Verse 10 makes sense, yeah.
How many times must we tread this road?
Well, I mean, like, and if the number is 21, and
Oh, right, of
he's
course.
referring to Acts 22 as being the instruction to get thee to Damascus, right? It's something he never achieved, right? This is the 22nd chapter.
Jeez. Ah, here we are.
And now you come back, right?
Yeah, so where the shit do we go? We made-
Well, I think the coins represent, like, desperate hope, right? I'm
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
I wasn't raised in the church, right? I don't have the, I don't have that kind of level of intertextuality.
But like, yeah, a wishing well is just sort of like, man, I sure hope this happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see so many of those coins there, and it's just like it's usually, you know, wishes for something petty or not important. It's like, you know, I hope you know, have a good day today or something. But in some ways, you know, you could make the reading that it is a vain hope,
Yeah.
and that there's so much of it down there.
And of course, like, submersion, right, could be a reference to baptism.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's lots of readings. You know, who knows how much of it was intended and how much of it is just like our
Yeah.
inference, our reading.
Well,
But that's
yeah.
what makes it interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, none of these readings are ironclad, right? They're very abstract. And they could be anything. But here you are stepping out of a pool and following a path up into light.
The Ascension. Paying for that miracle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. Where are we now? Okay, so I think this is just about at the end. So there's some casks here.
Candles in the broken...
Aha! And here's,
the broken
here's where they've
crates.
been coming from. And a tent. Maybe he moved here at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gone from day, sort of dusk, to nighttime, the full moon. Again, another light source leading us onward.
Hmm.
And do we go left or right?
First one, then the other?
Yeah, let me see about left first.
Mm-hmm. Actually, could we go back and look out the mouth of the cave again?
Like this?
Would you say that that could be eye-shaped?
Fuck. Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
yeah, maybe.
It's looking at me.
Yeah, well, it does follow you around, right?
I wish I could have known Donnelly in this place. We would have had so much to debate. Did he paint these stones or did I? Who left the pots in the hut by the jetty? Who formed the museum under the sea? Who fell silently to his death into the frozen waters? Who erected this godforsaken aerial in the first place? Did this whole island rise to the surface of my stomach, forcing the gulls to take flight?
Seems like a sensible conclusion to make. They're getting bigger. This looks like the bones of like a fishing village or something. I guess we can take this path.
Yeah.
God, look, the reflections are out of control. What's out over here? And where's the aerial? I don't think we can go any further. Goodbye! Starts me at the beginning. Fuck!
When was the last time you saved? I like the sound of the propeller in the water.
Yeah, that sounds like a bunch of stuff. It actually also sounds kind of like a an ultrasound, a little bit. That was something that I noticed. Did you see the teaser for Preacher?
No, I've heard it's good.
It's pretty cool. At the very, I'm gonna diverge from this game for just a second to tell you about this. At the very beginning, there's like this white light of mystic energy flying through the cosmos, and the sound it makes, you can sort of faintly hear crying, and it also makes a pulsating noise that sounds like an ultrasound.
Huh.
It's like, I
symbolism,
get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a lot of different ways we can go here. I imagine they all lead the same place. I want to get over there. It's just like a single candle set out to see here. You know, just like a vigil for something lost, something intangible, maybe. What is all that stuff? Is that more like pieces?
Yeah, it looks like more jetties. Jetties are on pylons, right? Or on
I'm not
piles?
sure. Yeah, what's the difference between like a dock and a jetty is the thing that sticks
Yeah,
out.
like I saw the diagram on Twitter where it had like, is it parallel to shore or perpendicular to shore?
Oh, it's
and is it on land or is it on piles? Right, and it was like one of those four cell diagrams.
so
or
this
two
looks
by
like
two.
it used to be a dock of some sort.
Yeah.
Dear Esther, I find each step harder and heavier. I drag Donnelly's corpse on my back across these rocks, and all I hear are his whispers of guilt, his reminders, his burnt letters, his neatly folded clothes. He tells me I was not drunk at all.
Oh shit. Did you kill her? Or is it all just muddled together?
Yeah.
You know, it's like all these stories are colliding at the same time.
Well, yeah, synthesizing, right, into this one.
It's just like, what the hell is the truth? You know, because, you know, he's tried all these permutations and he says, like, they're ending up crammed together into this incomprehensible mess. You know, is he literally dragging Donnelly's corpse?
Well, considering Donnelly seemed to have existed, you know, a couple of centuries before he did.
Probably not.
A shattered picture.
So, oh, there it is. We overshot it.
Hmm.
Oh well. Too late now.
Yep.
Let's see. What's this? There's a lot of like. This seems like funereal arrangements. Jesus. That's
Car
heavy.
parts.
Yep.
Very gory.
The hell was that?
Sound like a radio.
That was creepy. It's interesting, games like this and Gone Home especially. I heard a couple of reports of people like being sort of rattled by them because they kind of have the
chemical stains on the tarmac, the leak of air conditioning, brake fluid and petrol. He kept sniffing at his fingers as he sat by the roadside, waiting as if he couldn't quite understand or recognize their smell. He said he'd been traveling back from a sales conference in Exeter. He'd stopped for farewell drinks earlier, but had kept a careful eye on his intake. You could hear the sirens above the idling traffic.
Encore 2113, welcome back.
16 months. Thank you very much, Encore 2113.
These games have kind of the cadence of a horror game, but they're not.
Right.
And so, like, I think that with that expectation in mind, like, some people played... Well, and in some ways it kind of leverages that. Like, I was watching Kate playing Gone Home recently, and right up until... Spoilers. Right up until the end, I thought for sure I was going to find a dead sister upstairs.
Right.
I was certain. That's like, she's fucking dead.
Well, when you find the bathtub.
What was in the bed? With the red stuff?
Yeah.
And you're just like, shit, she killed herself. Okay,
Oh, it's hair dye.
It's hair dye.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, she's hung herself or like taken pills or something. Her body's going to be upstairs. This is going to be awful.
Right.
And then, thankfully, it's not. But
Yeah. Well, like, I just want to point out here, like, you see these messages now, like, painted on the rocks. And the way
wow,
he described
that's real big. Hang on a second.
In the way he described the markings that people would make in the rocks to warn people away.
Light from heaven shone around him.
Acts 9, verse 3. And he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round him a light from heaven. The next verse. And he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, 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 why persecutest thou me? Yeah.
What's this over
Again,
here?
more road to Damascus.
Yeah, just like this kind of pilgrimage theme.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
That is some sad and heavy shit.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like the interpretation in Acts here is that he's, at this point, like, following in the footsteps of Paul, right? Or Saul at this point.
Yep.
And cursing God, right? For taking his wife away.
Yeah. It's like, why did you do this?
Mm-hmm. And he's come here looking for salvation, right? For conversion.
Yeah. But I don't know if he's going to find it. Now, what is this structure, I wonder?
Yeah, now collect all 21 paper boats. Chivo.
Ding, ding, ding. They've been scattered. The paper boats of your dead wife have been scattered around the island. You have to find them all to get closure. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Wouldn't that be a shit? So this looks like a kind of like World War era installation of some sort. Like this is old, but
Yeah,
it's
the
a
more recent.
Yeah, like the poured. Oh no, these are cinder blocks.
Yeah, this is 20th century. Oh,
Yeah.
is there something written on the...
It's really faint. Nah, it's unreadable. It's probably just like a poster or like a stencil or something. But yeah, this would have been like, oh shit, hello.
Or a sudden light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground.
And here's
And
some
then-
whole eggs.
Yeah.
Interesting. Some more paint. So that's as far as we can go this way, I guess.
Well, your path is blocked by stones.
True.
Press F to gain closure.
Press F to gain
Like,
closure.
Is press X to pay respects the worst thing I've ever seen in a video game?
No, I can
like,
I
it's-
can sort of follow what they were trying to do with it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. There we go. But it's just become this kind of thing, you know. Let's talk about Bible. Let's bring you back to Catholic schools. Catholic school. Yeah. Experience. I am not able to share too much. Goddamn artist families. So that whole exchange we had there earlier is something that I'm hoping to get into a little bit
I
when
will
we
drag
hit
my
our
neck
next
behind
game.
me. I will drag it like a crumpled hatchback, tires blown and sparking across the dimming lights of my vision. I'm running out of painkillers and am following the flicker of the moon home. When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they restarted his heart with the jump leads from a crumpled hatchback. It took 21 attempts to convince it to wake up.
That's wild. You know, it's just like this fixation on these numbers and these, you know.
Yeah, assigning
events.
meaning to a kind of random event.
Yeah, just like it's meshing with this this biblical story and everything else that he's experienced. And he's just like, he sounds like a short story author, you know, just sort of like waxing poetic about this stuff. Again, probably in an attempt to find meaning in it.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
We get to see the path we followed
Yeah.
to get to this point.
So, 21 boats, then a 22nd page folded into an airplane. Right? The gulls have left, but there's still something taking flight here. And as he was proceeding on his journey...
Yeah, I guess that's
again,
continuing about
yeah.
that.
Like, there's a Christian doctrine of a lightness about events being kind of meaningless, right? That they are light, right? The soul is the soul is light like a bird, not like a feather.
Okay.
Is one of the axioms I've heard.
Interesting. It was come near. Yeah, I guess these are just more quotes from that story.
Yeah.
We're getting the choir again.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
So, okay, all the other messages I've realized now have been on our left side so that we can read them in sequence, right? We read left to right. The message on the right, now we have a message on the right that is read backwards, but the first word we see as we come around the corner is drink.
Shit. And he would neither tire. He was 3 days without sight. And neither did he
eat nor drink.
All right. We are very close now. Oh, there we go. Don't drink that. So, even now, I'm like compelled to move like at almost an accelerated pace. Like I'm still stopping to read stuff because you know this is what the stream is about. But I think I recall when I played this the first time, I was like feeling more and more driven towards this like end point.
Yeah, you can see it coming closer. And okay, I like that. You're on this.
My stomach will weigh me down and ensure my descent is true and straight. I will break through the fog of these godforsaken pills and achieve clarity. All my functions are clogged, all my veins are choked. If my leg doesn't rot off before I reach the summit, it will be a miracle. There are 21 connections in the circuit diagram of the anti-lock brakes. There are 21 species of gull inhabiting these islands. It is 21 miles between the Sandford Junction and the turn-off for home. All these things will not be a coincidence.
But they are.
Yeah, that's what coincidence means.
But it has to mean something. Right.
Well, and again, more of these verses, like, and it came to pass that as I made it, my journey...
Something. I'm going to check inside here while you're doing that. I think you were cut off in the middle of something.
What was I even saying? I don't remember what I was on. Chat, can you remind me what I was talking about?
We keep getting interrupted by...
Yeah, again, it's more from Acts chapter 22, verse 6. Ah, wait, hold on. That was the diagram we had earlier on the right there.
Yep.
It's Solfano?
The path diverted?
Oh yeah, the path diverted. We
Yep.
were on the one path,
Yep.
and then the other path with this bunker and the stairway just like popped into view, and we took it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that forked with the narration.
Yeah. There, look at that.
Yeah, that's
we can
gorgeous.
we can just barely see it from the side.
Yeah.
But that is a colossal.
Yeah, that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah. So like that, I think that represents probably the end point of all of this scribbling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, and I'll make it big enough that the eyes of God can read it. Fuck it.
Wait, hold on. Which side of the gate was that sign on?
The wrong side.
Yeah,
But
that's
they had to do it that way.
Well, they could have easily hung the gate the other way.
Interesting. So that's a decision made not through logic but through game design.
Yeah.
Because if this gate was like this should be on the other side
Mm-hmm.
if it was a real gate.
Yeah.
But to do that, they would have had to add an interaction
Right.
there to like open gate.
Yeah.
But they haven't had that throughout the rest of the game. So instead, they have it open, they put it on the wrong side. Unless you're really paying attention to it, you don't really notice it, and it still achieves the same thing. But it's an interesting little detail.
Yeah.
So that means the rest of the island is unauthorized.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep
Well,
out of
I
the
mean,
island.
like that's a choice that was made, right?
Yeah.
Like that this keeps people in.
Mm-hmm. Although, yeah, the island isn't about logic either.
Mm-hmm.
Won't be long now.
Also, the verses, these are all from different versions of the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
One earlier was out of King James, but the ones I've looked up since have not been from King James. They've been from several different translations of the Bible.
He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. He had not drunk with Donnelly or spat Jakobsen back at the sea. He had not careered across the lost shores and terminal beaches of this nascent archipelago. He did not intend his bonnet to be crumpled like a spent tissue by the impact. His windscreen was not star-studded all over like a map of the heavens. His paintwork etched with circuit diagrams, strange fish to call the gulls away. The phosphorescence of the skid marks lighting the M5 all the way from Exeter to Damascus.
Just more and more, this narration is just like
Yeah. Everything
weaving
is...
everything together.
Yeah.
You know, he's talking nonsense, but
Mhm. And
through-
again...
like nonsense with a sort of, you can follow the logic,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, like the markings that he's making, like the paintings are all like evoking the starred windshield,
Yeah.
right?
And somebody pointed out that it's sounding more desperate now.
Yeah. This
Well.
is Damascus.
I guess it is.
Yeah. From Exeter to Damascus.
It's a long way.
Like there's a Nabokov short story called Signs and Symbols, which is like one of my favorite short stories, where it is about a Russian immigrant couple and their adult son, and their adult son is in a hospital because he's convinced that the entire world is about him, right? That everything that happens in the world is a coded message
Jeez.
about him.
Isn't that what paranoid schizophrenia is a little bit like?
I'm not exactly
I don't
sure.
actually know, because
But like the funny thing is though, because it's a short story, literally everything becomes about him because everything in a short story is meaningful because you don't have much space, so everything has to count,
Yeah.
right? So he's not, the character isn't wrong. He's somehow detecting
Whoa.
his existence in a short in
That's
in the
really
fiction
crazy.
because everything has to mean something, right?
I am the
And-
Ariel. In my passing, I will send news to each and every star.
I guess he made it. Yeah. All right. You ready for this?
Bland Spice, yeah, that could be very relevant, that Axe is written about Paul, not by Paul.
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an Ariel, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We've always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland. Their help will be sent.
Oh shit! You're right. The stones
Yeah.
in the form of the. I did not notice that the first time. Oh, look, we go across the.
Yeah, you pass across the face of the... We never get to see what it is, though.
No, it's something. Yeah, are we following the path of a paper airplane?
Yeah?
Maybe.
Yeah, the shadow you cast is a bird shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, the shape in the rocks, just in the corner,
Mhm.
there was an arrangement of rocks in the shape of that.
Well, there was a constellation of rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
That was in the shape of an ethanol molecule. What did he say?
Come back.
Hmm.
Oh, that poor man.
Yeah.
That poor doomed man. So that was, I loved this experience the first time I did it, but it was definitely not. It was not fun. It wasn't entertaining, but it was something different, and it was really. It was an experience that I valued and I still kind of cherish.
Right.
And for me, it was really just like, here's something really different
Hmm.
that the medium of video games is capable of doing.
Hmm.
And it was a little weird to me, the amount of pushback this game and
Yeah.
others like it received, because it was just like, I don't get it. Like, it's not a game. It's just like, which brings us back to the argument is, it's really just boils down to semantics.
Yeah.
Video game is a useful term that we can ascribe to things like this, because I played this with a mouse and keyboard on a computer,
Mm-hmm.
and I explored a virtual space and had a virtual experience.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is what video games are now. Maybe in their genesis, there was the expectation that they are just like, it's Pac-Man.
Yeah.
How do you gain points in this game, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine, because there's the history of it. But I think now that term has become very broadened to encompass a large number of things. And so, like I said, until we coin a new term that sort of like expresses, interactive experiences or, whatever.
Right.
Video games is what we have to work with now.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's just a way to refer to these things.
Well, like, after movies came along, right, we had a new term that was used for movies with sound. Talkies.
Talkies, yeah.
Right? Which never caught on.
It never caught on, but we had a term for it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how I feel about interactive experiences. Where
Yeah,
it's like, that works.
Yeah, it's
but
more accurate. Like,
it's more
like
accurate.
talkie, it's more accurate.
It's more
but
accurate.
will it?
It's such a mouthful, and it doesn't have. We need a word that is short and concise.
Yeah.
Like movie, or comic, or painting or sculpture, whatever.
Yeah.
We need something like that divorces the expectation of like entertainment and or competition from this thing.
Well, I mean, like, and as far as, like, I will happily defend Dear Esther even as a game, right? Like, I found this interview with the game creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he says, where is it exactly? For me, games don't need fixing. They're not broken. I'm a gamer and a game developer. That's my world, right? Like, he doesn't... This is a game,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, yeah, and it's like it's just not useful to deny it that identity, because it's like I said I had an argument with somebody once where they're I think they were referencing Dear Esther or a game like that. They're like, well, I don't think it's really a game as much as it is like an art. Oh, resume game. I'll get to it in a second.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As much as it is like an art piece. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, sure, you're right. What's the medium?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a painting?
Yeah.
Is it a sculpture? Is it music?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a video game.
Yeah.
That's all we have to work with right now.
Yeah, no, and I don't really have a problem calling this a video game.
Yeah.
Right? Like...
It's not a perfect term, but it's what we have.
Do you want to take a break there?
Yeah, let's take a break, and then we're going to come back with a
Vanishing of... Yeah.
Vanishing of Ethan Carter, which I'm hoping is going to provide some interesting contrast and more to talk about. Because it's a game in a very similar genre, pretty similar intent, but it chooses to use more traditional, more conventional gameplay aspects, the kind of things that people expect of games, like puzzle games and stuff. And I want to observe that and look at how it may have an enhancing effect on the narrative and the experience, and or how it may have a deleterious effect on the narrative and experience. Because I think it can do both.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to like make the case that like adding gameplay to narrative games always makes them shit. Because it doesn't.
No.
It frequently makes them shit.
Yeah, like, I mean,
But
it's an experimental medium.
It is.
Right?
And people are just figuring this shit out right now. And that's why games like Dear Esther and Vanishing of Ethan Carter are exciting to me, is because people are trying stuff.
Yeah, like any new medium, any new thing that you're trying to do necessarily involves a lot of failure.
Yeah.
Like,
and
I read a chemistry paper earlier this year. And he said, good science... Wampax!
Welcome.
For 24 months, 2-year anniversary. Thank you very much, Wampax. Wampa X. He said, good science is science that fails early and clearly.
And frequently.
Yeah. Well, like, clearly and early and, yeah, identifiably. And, like, that's how you know you're doing good science, when you can look at something and go, that didn't work. And I know why.
Yeah. What was I going to say? No, it's gone. Brain explosion. Yeah, so we will be back, and we're going to talk some more
Yep.
about this stuff, and we're gonna have a good time.
Sounds good. Okay. Yeah, we're going to run an ad, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes. There we go.
Howdy do.
Hey, nerds.
We're back. So, I remembered what I was gonna say, which is that narrative games and sort of exploration games and tourism sim kind of games, right now, they're sort of stuck using the tools that have been established for games that are maybe not trying to do the same thing.
Right.
You know, so this is, I think, why you have so many of these, ostensibly narrative-driven games that have this insistence on putting puzzles in.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we have to have gameplay in it, or else it's not a game.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
No, you don't. If all you're trying to do is tell a story,
Then
that might actually be a drawback to your game.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanted to play this, because I want to explore where conventional gameplay can be a drawback, or where
Or
it can
an enhancement.
Because
Yeah.
I think it can be both.
Yeah.
And
Well, I really wanted to point out that, on that train of thought, Dear Esther was originally prototyped on the Half-Life 2 engine, right? And that DNA is going to be a part of the game.
Yep.
As you can say, they had to remove your ability to jump and crouch.
Yep.
Because the Half-Life 2 engine is notoriously exploitable,
Yep.
right? And in a game that is so dependent on having paths laid out for you,
And
the ability to glitch through it,
Would be bad.
yeah, would be...
Also, there's not even a sprint button.
Yeah.
Because why, you wouldn't sprint through an art gallery.
Yeah.
And I think that's a deliberate decision. It's like,
Okay,
you
yeah.
have no need to go fast, right? You're not Sonic. So,
I'm taking off my goddamn shoes.
we're going to see. So, Vanishing
can't
of
stop
Ethan
me.
Carter. That's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, Vanishing of Ethan Carter is a game in a very similar style. That's, sort of an exploration-centric game that is telling and inferring a story. It's really fucking pretty, too.
Ooh.
This is staggeringly beautiful.
Is this the game that I think I saw a video of this earlier, where you were walking along a railway across a bridge, and it was inhumanly beautiful.
You're gonna drop your chain. It tells you right off the bat. Look at that. It doesn't hold your hand. Well, what the
so
hell
it's
does that
hardcore.
mean? So it's hardcore, you say. Yeah.
Ethan Carter, I didn't know. But he knew who I was. When the police won't help you and the priests don't believe you, you call on Paul Prospero. You call on me. If you're a kid like Ethan, you're right. Plenty do. Ethan's letter started out just like any other fan mail. But soon there were mentions of things no little boy should know about. There are places that exist that very few people can see. Ethan could have drawn a map. I hadn't entered Red Creek Valley yet, but already I could feel its darkness reaching out for me. Finding Ethan Carter wasn't going to be as easy as knocking on his door. I was too late for that. To find Ethan, I had to figure out what this place was trying to hide from me.
So, I think this game puts you much more directly in the narrator's seat. This person
well, I mean,
you are.
obviously, there's already a me.
Yeah, there's already
Right.
a me. And there's already a me that has some character here. And we've obviously started off with inference of the supernatural. There's this is a lot more conventional in every way. And I use conventional carefully
Okay.
because I don't want it to sound kind of
Derisive?
Yeah, derisive.
Yeah.
Because it's not. It's just this is more like a regular, story.
Okay.
So we're plonked in this.
We're
presence.
already being railroaded. Right? And, okay, hold on. Let's turn around. I want to look at this. We're stepping out of the light. Right?
Yep.
We could have a bend in that tunnel that could be totally dark, but it's light. Right?
Well, he said this place is a place of darkness.
Mm.
We're going away from the light. Like, holy fuck, this game.
I've been working
On the railroad. Oh, the live. So, please, I just want to get this out of the way.
These rocks are off the hook.
Yeah, I saw a thing, they actually, like, photographed real rocks from a bunch of different sides. Like,
I thought they had artists do this.
So, now, you say literally being railroaded, you're not wrong.
Mm.
But, again, strategies for leading the player. But because of the kind of person and player I am, I always want to go off the beaten path, because I am Curious George.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't you know, there's like a little bit of a beaten path over here.
Okay.
Hello? What the hell does this mean?
I think it means don't go this way.
So this this is much more explicit about explaining mechanics to the player, which is fine because there's no like sort of pointed interaction in Dear Esther.
Yeah.
They assume that it's like if you can WASTA and mouse, you can play this game, and
Okay.
you don't need anything else. This game, on the other hand, and all games, and I think we mentioned this on the first stream, a book doesn't have to tell you how to read,
No.
and a painting doesn't have to tell you how to see.
No. But
A video game has to explain how to play it because the way you interact with it is often very different. There are standards that exist, so sometimes, like in an FPS game, they don't usually make a habit of saying WASTA moves and mouse locks
right,
and
like
stuff like that.
of what we referred to last time as game literacy,
Yeah.
right?
So,
So we're psychic.
I'm holding this. Interesting. There's a little thing opening up, but I don't think it's opening any further than that.
Also, Alex and I had a conversation while we were out. We are going to try doing sub
Actually,
announcements.
can you, like, close the sub notifier, actually? Because we
Okay.
realized that we want to thank the subs and point them out at the end of the stream. But having the pop-up in the middle of a conversation is so annoying.
Yeah, like, and
So
not
we'll
that we
get to
don't
you at the
appreciate
end.
the subs. You make this all possible, but we want to just like be able to like focus in here.
Wait! Right. Huh. I forgot about all this shit.
So the same shape as earlier, now an additional shape. Oh, these look like paint strokes.
They do. So that's weird. I wonder what it's trying to tell us. How many more traps are we going to have to fall into? It's a nice place. Yeah, this is what we get for going off the beaten path. So obviously, I'm getting the sensation that this is a place that doesn't want me to be here.
Yeah, no,
Which-
this is a
which
very
was-
hostile.
Yeah, hostile work environment. And, you know, that was inferred at the beginning, but now we see the reality of it.
Yeah, this has already taken on some kind of like Lynchian elements here,
There's
where it
something-
looks very like pretty and natural, and is also so dangerous.
Yeah, it's
and
very...
not kind of idly dangerous.
It's actively
it's murderous,
hostile.
right?
So after finding that first one, oh, there's another one. There it is.
Yeah.
Now will we get 3?
Looks like it.
It's starting to form a picture.
We get higher resolution the more we
There's
encounter.
bones. I can see a little bit of...
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe this is inferring that we're psychic, that we can, like, have,
Yeah.
you know, the happening of whatever.
So we're going backwards now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find if there's any more of these traps, because I imagine we need one more to get a complete, clear picture.
Can they actually kill us?
I hope not. Oh, that's
That's a nasty
some
one. That's a
fucking-
mean
That's some
looking one.
Vietnam shit right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we're very close now. I think we need a fifth one.
So this is already establishing the a link between like risk reward.
Yeah. Or just like exploration and finding something. And this is a mechanic that I like in these sort of games where it's just like the more you explore, sometimes you don't like get stuff that helps your character in any way, but you just you become party to the story more deeply. Like you gain more information.
Well,
So
we
your
have a lot
curiosity-
more agency here than we did in Dear Esther.
Yeah, a lot more interaction with it. So this, so far, is a enhancing factor of.
Well, and it really encourages you to get off the tracks.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is. Would you call this also a game literacy moment, where you have like, you begin on a railroad.
Yeah.
But if you wander off. You get more.
Yeah. Well, I think that's. Oh! We
There
got
we
it.
go.
Oh shit! We're actually here now.
We're surrounded by skeletons.
Well, that's spooky. Where is this? How did we get here? So, we've been linked from danger to death. Oh, right, I love the props in this game. This is something that, this is the kind of thing where gameplay and interaction can be a massively enhancing factor. So, like, letting us pick this page up and, like, turn it over and look at it and zoom in on it and look at it.
Sap.
And
by
then
Ethan
it actually
Carter.
gives you the text. So, even if it's, like, written kind of smudgy, you can just read the text.
Yeah, an old man came to the forest every day to drink sap from the trees. To get there, the old man had to step around many dangerous traps. The villagers believed this old man had a hidden jade amulet in the forest, but the old man wanted the villagers to believe this because then they would search the forest for treasure and not drink his sap. One cool fall night, someone set fire to the forest and the fire spread to the village. The old man escaped the fire by covering himself in sap. When he returned to the village, he found all the villagers' bones. The old man sat down and cried. Then he found more sap to drink.
That's weird.
This reminds me...
Ethan, I told you, you can't be here.
But Gramp, I wrote something for you.
That's real nice. Thank you. Just leave it. I'll read it later.
Ed, you're a dick. Oh.
Ooh.
Something different now.
Yeah.
Now, is that the same page? It is. By Ethan Carter. So the kid wrote this.
So I get a sense this kid is, what, about 10 years old?
Probably. So bottles, campfire.
With a
Scrap.
scrap of newspaper. One dead in house fire. After heated public hearing, no answers for Vandergriff heirs. Which story are we supposed to...
This is the one on the face. I
Yeah.
imagine that this is...
Bayfield County. Fire damaged a historic home in Red Creek Valley Wednesday morning, according to officials from the Bayfield County Fire Department. A family of 6 from the blaze broke out at the remote house, once owned by Albert Vandergriff, by the Ogden Lake in Red Creek Valley. Gail Carter, 58, was pronounced dead at the scene. Remaining family members were able to escape. Carter's husband, Edwin, 62, told investigators that he may have fallen asleep with a lit cigarette in his hand.
So,
Firefighters were dispatched.
mom... Yeah. So mom dead.
Yeah.
Other little bits of information from this. It is 1970...
Yeah.
70-something is...
Withdrawal from Vietnam finally complete.
Yeah, so that...
But, like, this family is also once owned by Albert Vandergriff.
So who knows how old this clipping is. So bottles,
But, like-
of course, being visual shorthand for drunkenness or alcohol abuse.
Like, I've been out in the woods and found, like, fire pits like that.
Yep.
Right? I've emptied bottles around fire pits like that.
Yep. Hello, butterflies. You are adding atmosphere to the scene.
Withdrawal from Saigon was in 1970?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your presence here allows better immersion for the player. So this is out behind the...
Yeah. Withdrawal was done in 1975? Okay. And did Ethan write the story before or after the fire?
There's no date on it, I don't think. So the big overlaid text is very, very clear.
Right.
It's out of goose with like how realistic the setting is, but it's kind of a necessary thing.
Yeah, I could see that in like a detective movie, right? As shorthand for like your
Yeah.
psychic abilities, right?
Like,
the
personally,
hero's psychic powers.
I'm a real fan of like the sort of more subtle kind of things, but like this is very eye-catching from a distance, so you know.
Yeah.
Like I like the sort of halo around things, or just like there's some where if you get close to an object, it everything except it desaturates, which I think is really cool. But you know,
I think this is effective and not too
absolutely
offensive.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. These fucking rocks, I cannot handle them.
Rock's so good.
Yeah, like this just, it really feels like a real place. I can't imagine how much time they must have spent on this. Oh, this one has a run. You can run in this game.
Ah, so the tracks are disrupted.
All right. Now I wonder, okay, so if we had followed the tracks, we would have gone here, we could have pushed on through, or been led this
like
direction.
we're being into the sun, you follow the path, right? Follow the light, and where do you go? Oh, this is pretty.
Be wary of gorgeous view.
Try holding with both hands.
Predictable joke ahead. I wish I could write that. Tired laugh ahead. You know.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
So yeah, the path is broken in two ways here, right? First is by a rock slide, and then by... This is inhuman.
I know, it's kind of scary. Some of the ties have rivets and others don't. And it actually has depth, which is spooky. Things we can tell about this railway. It is very disused. It's rusted on the top. I mean, it's also, this bridge is fucked. So it's not being used in a real long time. So, and also we walked here, so
Yeah,
I imagine
obviously there's no danger, right?
Yeah. Cracked paint that actually has like depth on it. Oh, this is gonna be spooky. I'm getting flashbacks to Stand By Me.
Oh, right.
That harrowing scene with the
running
train.
Creek Valley seemed like a quiet, ordinary place. I've learned two things in my life. No place is truly quiet, and nowhere is really ordinary. Ethan warned me about that. Warned me not to be fooled by what I saw here. He didn't need to worry. I'd worked dozens of cases, hundreds. This would be my last one. Already I knew that.
So this is very noir.
It's very noir. You're sort of like, I'm getting a sort of paranormal investigator kind of vibe out of this.
Prospero sounds like definitely kind of like a stage name for a psychic detective.
Yeah. Wow, this place is trashed. Yeah, like all these planks look different. Like all the little, the actual like individual nails where they would be. Oh my god, the detail. Again, this is like what happens sort of when you devote all of a team's resources to making this, to setting the scene as vividly as possible. You know, the wood piles, you know, done in such a way that they're actually like stacked in a way you might expect.
Yeah.
and in a place they might expect. You know, it's just like maybe a restoration or hazard removal project long delayed. It's like, well, we're going to replace it with this eventually once we get the budget.
Yep.
Which we never get. And look, there is something on this road.
Yeah.
This rail track. And a music cue right as we reach this. There's
Yeah, blood splatter on the tracks. Interesting. Where's the crank? By the river. It's been thrown off the bridge.
Huh. Interesting. So, I just want to, once this is done, I'm gonna explain something. So this is just gonna keep circling. So, what happened there was I looked there, and a bunch of ideas, words popped out, and then the word crank blossomed out. And as you turn to face where I think it is, they coalesce together.
Yeah.
So I think the intent there is to, like, through gameplay kind of articulate, you know, that's sort of like puzzling this thing out.
Right.
And again, like, you have this psychic knowledge, and then once you get it, it gives you this little portrait of where the thing you need to get is.
I like this mechanic a lot.
It's pretty good. Let's get inside. Oh, that is old.
The engine isn't on, so there's no...
No dice. Polish on this is so good.
Like, I really like the David Lynch angle here that, like, Americana is, rotten to its core, right?
So, here we have another path, which is blocked by some sort of old rock fall. Maybe this was just closed off deliberately. So, what's the significance of this train? Why was it moved? It was moved recently, when we have a lead on where something that's going to move it. And in some ways, you know, this we're finding a key to open a door.
Yeah.
In a way, but
yeah,
it's more interesting.
Yeah, well, there's a story being told in the key.
Yeah.
And the act of opening the door, right? It's not just like, find the blue key to open the blue door. Interesting.
Oh.
Somebody was tied on the tracks?
This is some...
No blood.
Interesting. Yeah. So, like, the reason keys and doors frustrate me in a lot of survival horror games is because people just, like, pull that trope off the shelf and don't do anything with it. They're just like, we need to impede the player.
Yeah.
So let's just throw a door in front of them and fling the key somewhere. And it's just like, it's careless and it's lazy and it sucks because it happens all the time.
Yeah, and I don't think it even happens consciously.
No, it's
right?
it's just one of those things that people take for granted. It's like, oh, we're doing a video game. We have to have gameplay. Let's put some doors in the player's way.
Yeah.
So they have something to do. It's like, why?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do with this mechanic?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well,
we need
gameplay.
Yeah.
It's like, this is more interesting. It's still kind of mechanically the same thing. We're trying to get a thing to open a thing, but there's a story behind it. You know, so, and
there's a so what.
There is a so what.
The telegraph lines have been broken.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus!
those are...
Those are legs.
Yeah. And it crawled off.
So these little things that come out, it's just like the character pondering, or maybe giving suggestions that maybe you would infer yourself. It's being more explicit about it. But, well, I mean, we're obviously going this way. Ew, gross.
So that's the origin of the bloodstains.
I imagine so. Oh, God. That is a Deadman.
Okay, that's the blood from the legs. Where's the rest of the blood come? Why is there splatter?
Head trauma.
Yeah. I like the fire kind of. It looks like a burning hole in paper.
Not yet. Death scene disturbed by third party, eroded by time.
What if you center the head?
It could be that we need more information, remember?
Yeah. Yeah, we
So
only have
what
this
we've
tiny aperture.
Yeah, what we've been taught is that we need more than one. It sounds
Yeah.
like I'm upset because it's bad cooking. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just so fucking lazy. It shows no intent or vision on the behalf of the designers when that happens, and that's why it makes me so angry. Is because like on some level, like I'm just, it's like lazy service. I feel like sometimes I'm being condescended to.
Yeah.
You're just throwing these hurdles in front of me for no reason other than to pad out the length of the experience.
Well, it just feels thoughtless.
It is, yeah. This looks familiar. This beach resembles what we saw
found.
in the vision. Which means that we should be finding
There it is.
a tire iron.
Crankshaft. Bloodied.
Oh, it's shit. So yeah, this in itself, like this, it's a key. But there's so much being said here. This was not only like functioning for something earlier, but it's a murder weapon. And we can tell that immediately. Like we can put those pieces together very easily that this was used to kill that guy after his legs were run off. So we're gonna put this in our hammer space. Yeah, just get it in there. Alright. I'm gonna go this way and then backtrack to see if there's anything else along here.
Okay.
So far, what we've encountered has been, in a lot of ways, had an enhancing effect. There's stuff, I think, later that doesn't do as good a job, which I'm hoping we get that far in the game. Oh, that's a big rock slide.
Yeah, like when did these rock slides occur? Right?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can't get around that way, so we gotta go back this way. And I feel like if we wanted to, we could just skip all of this, but because we've been thrown in the feet of an investigator, there's an additional kind of motivation for the curiosity.
Yeah, the knowing that we're like some kind of detective really makes us feel invested in investigating, right?
Yeah.
Like in
It makes it's almost like a role-playing game.
yeah, there's an imperative.
You want to get out your actual fedora and your magnifying glass. Now let's see. Okay, no more information yet. Oh, there's more clues. So notice, like I was over here, the red tint of that object catches my eye.
Yeah, immediately.
I was like, what's this? Oh, it's a gas can.
Not something I would have immediately noticed.
Ah.
Rectangle. Oh, this is where it was parked. The
Yeah.
rail car from the bridge was parked here.
So here is a gameplay mechanic. So rail cars floating around. If I move the mouse, towards where it is.
Aha. Oh, I like that a lot.
Aha!
So, I guess the implication here is that
Oh,
if
shit.
we reverse the rail car, we can recreate.
So now we get another vision of this rail car. So we would have passed this on the way, but this is also just like teaching the player how this mechanic works. So it just gives us this fly around. We can sort of observe important details, try to figure out where it might be. Like obviously we've been to it before, so we can figure that out easily, but I imagine that will become more difficult later. Maybe.
So, as you may have guessed, I haven't actually played this game before, which is something that would get your ass kicked if you went into a university English lecture without having read the material.
But we're not.
And I'm really sorry, but I'm also enjoying this experience of seeing it for the first time.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's something to be said for, like, a fresh experience into here. Okay, so let's crank this shit up.
So I apologize for not having done my homework.
Alright, so we started it up. So let's get in here. And go backwards. Run over that guy's legs again. And the dried grass is conveniently marked by the gas can. That's probably about far enough.
Oh man, you guys, I had one prof who would look at you and she would just know
Oh no.
if you hadn't read. She would just know.
Yeah. That's pretty savage.
She was
Okay.
great. She was my comparative lit prof.
Okay, so let's just have a look at the body real quick and see
Yeah,
if
now that
this is
maybe we're trying to restore the
the state of. Oh, there it goes. That's more. There's something still missing,
yeah.
but we're seeing visually that we are working this out. Maybe there's something more over here. Wait, line up the blood? I mean, maybe we need to move it further back. If we can't figure it out over here, then we'll move it back further.
A footprint. A
Divot.
divot?
Fresh dirt. A rock.
Aha! The murder weapon. The final murder weapon.
That is a tiny-ass rock. Where could it be?
Well, it's helpfully next to a
Oh,
tree
it's-
that's conspicuously chopped down.
There we go. It's right next to the rail car.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe he wasn't beaten to death with the crank.
But the crank would have gotten sprayed with blood.
So do we? No, still need to do something. What can we do?
Do we put it back?
Maybe. So maybe on the front. I don't actually remember how to solve this one. Canister. Is there anything
Like,
else?
this is just
Actually, oh,
very
wait.
deliberately planned.
Wait, oh, I see. Like, we can put this back
Mm-hmm.
and see. I'll watch my old stream. Okay, here we go.
Fix.
Alright, so maybe now we have enough information. So that was taken from there. So now that we've put everything back the way it was, for the most part, now let's see if we can figure something out. One time. Here we go! Oh. Oh, shit. Where are you going? Wait. One, 2, 3, 4.
5.
Oh, God. Why would you do that? So here's a recreation. Ethan was tied to these tracks, but obviously he made it out.
Yeah.
I imagine that's Ethan.
I mean,
This fuck. Was he hit in the head? Did Ethan get loose and break that off? I'm gonna check this one over here.
like, we're assuming that that's Ethan Carter,
Yeah. He had an accomplice.
who looks like the grandfather
Jesus.
from the newspaper.
Why do they have it in for this kid, I wonder? Grandfather got... Oh, he got the rock. Oh, shit. What you gonna do with that tire iron, Grandpa? Oh. Okay, so this is another mechanic. So once you get this happens a couple times throughout the game, is you find all of these events, and then you put them in order,
Okay.
which is again like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
along the lines of the investigation kind of thing. So 1, 2, 3.
This has to be
4,
the final
5,
one.
6. So this is definitely 6.
I think the one with them standing next, like, that has to be 5, right?
Yeah, this has got to be 5. Oops. So what's 1?
I'm assuming the one with the boy tied to the tracks is 1. Then 2 is the one with them standing next to the...
1, 2, 3.
So we're missing 1. We haven't seen...
Yeah.
We've only seen 5. Where's the 6th one? Oh, the one with the grandfather grabbing the rock.
Yeah. So let's try this 1. This 2.
4?
4.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
4.
2.
Well, let's see what happens.
Or did the father come to save the boy? Or the grandfather come to save the boy? Like, do we have them tied to the tracks, the grandfather getting the rock, coming up to the man, the man kneeling over the tracks?
Well, let's see what happens.
Gail, honey, I wish there was another way.
2.
Listen to me. We can destroy it. I know how.
You can't destroy it, Ethan. You can't destroy time. And that's what he is. He is forever.
3.
Travis, tell me where Ethan is. Now.
I'm giving the sleeper what he wants. What all of us want. Look, old man, you need to go home.
Yep, this looks like it. Oh, this is no bueno. Dear God.
No.
Eey.
Ethan, run, goddammit. Go! Get out of here.
He crawled a long way.
Travis, close your eyes.
And now
Okay.
What's this one, and where is it going? Shit.
Grandpa? Stay away!
Ethan,
7.
I'm sick too. I can feel the sleeper in my head.
Then fight it! I have to destroy the room!
Corvus, I'm sorry. Ethan,
Oh no!
I can't let you do that.
Something's fucked in this town. I tell you what.
Whatever had turned Ethan's family against him, the grandfather was trying to resist. Age helps against those things that feed on hate. Not because of wisdom or experience, because the old are tired. Their hate is less useful.
How interesting. So, look how vivid the colors are coming back from that.
Yeah,
sort of
from
like,
that, yeah.
like fever dream. So there's a contrast there visually. So, I'm generally a fan of like this mechanic.
Okay, yeah.
I dig it. I think there's a couple puzzles later on with shit you do. Like there was one that kind of annoyed me because it was like going through rooms and trying to figure out what order the rooms went in. I was like, this is actually just feels like busy work. But this is good because it feels like it through gameplay they were able to articulate a sort of like this sleuthing.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
You know, I really like that. That was really effective. I found that, kind of upsetting.
Yeah.
Which I don't get from a lot of games,
Yeah,
right?
it was
Like, I've no-sir'd my way through a lot of horror games.
no sir. Sir, no sir. So we've solved that. I imagine we could have just skipped right past it. But again, because we're placed in this role, and because I am Curious George, I feel compelled to investigate, to learn, to unravel. Wow, we could get super lost in here. Creaky trees and creepy music, doody doody doo. Gonna go and shit my pants. Do you hear something?
No.
Probably should have tagged this as a Let's Nope as well. That's a nice sunrise.
Yeah,
Sunset.
how could anything bad be,
Nah.
I mean, we're crawling out of the dark forest into the light here,
It'll
right?
be perfect.
Yeah.
And then a thing ate us. And the music reflects that.
Yeah.
I think this is just gonna be a nice vista. Or maybe an XP. That's nice.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
it's like,
still nice things in the world.
it's true. Not a lot of them, but hey, we found one of them. I think this might just be here just because it's nice. It's like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Now go back to your job.
There are still pretty things in the world.
I wonder how much of this musical change is procedural.
Yeah.
Like they probably worked it together in such a way that like that transition kind of dissonance happens as you cross a threshold.
Yeah.
And so this is something that video games are able to do.
Mm-hmm.
This sort of thing happens to the characters in a movie, but in a video game you can rig it just so that it happens in response to the player's actions,
Yeah.
which makes it feel more personal, I think.
Well, like, one of the bloggers I follow, who's a sculptor, he was talking about a museum emplacement he went to
Yeah.
right after September 11th.
Jeez.
And it had nothing to do with September 11th, right? But it was this emplacement where you could, like, you were going through this museum and you came to, like, an installation in the museum
Yep.
where Thomas Tallis's Spem and Allium was playing, right? Which is like this 40-part choral piece.
Yeah.
that kind of like predates modern time signatures, and some of the choristers have like 10 minutes of rest,
Yeah.
right, and need to be paying attention the entire time, and it's a very beautiful piece.
Yeah.
But there's a window in this room that showed where the two towers would have been, and it totally changed the context of the piece, right, in a
Wow.
way that the installer, the artist who put the piece in before September 11th,
Yeah. Had not intended, but
yeah,
it
had
ended
not
up that way?
anticipated, right, and definitely in a way that the composer of the piece, because he's been dead for 400 years,
Did not intend, and that
Yeah.
yet that
yes,
occurred.
yeah, like an organic, like.
The fuck is this?
Oh, you've been to that 40 part? Yeah, the 40 part motet. Yeah. Yeah, Arclight Dynamo. That sounds like the one. What?
So that was a code. Oh shit!
We're following an
And
astronaut.
now we're following an astronaut. This is weird. Why are you running away, and why am I following you? But, come back, Astroman.
Like, the astronaut can see us.
Can they? Fuck, where did they go? Up here? There you are. Come back. So this is like a pretty weird little swerve in theme. But I'm willing to go with it. Was it
To the
behind?
right.
No, there
Yeah.
he is. Why are you leading me?
Left.
I see him.
Behind?
Shit. I didn't see.
It sounded like behind.
Ah, fuck. Dang it!
Mission failed.
Yep. Yeah, I have no idea where he went.
But what's that?
Down there? Probably more stuff. Oh, wait.
There he is. Can you just go back to the start?
I don't know. Maybe... Here we go.
Oh, you can restart the...
Yeah, maybe? Oh, okay, yeah, here we go. Is it just the same thing over again?
Looks like.
Okay. No, this looks like maybe a different route.
Right.
Oh no, you're right. It is the same route. I think I nailed this the first time. That last one was the big jukes.
Sorry, the stereo signaling is more extreme than it is. And it's throwing me off a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Michael Pfeiffer.
Okay, now where is it? Here? So he's over there. Now where does he go? Fuck, where did he go? There he is. What in the fuck? What the shit is going on? Yay! What?
I honestly did not see this coming.
Yeah, me neither. This confused me a lot. I don't actually remember what it... Extraterrestrial containment capsule number 86911. Oh.
Where are we?
I don't know. Some things are happening. I also think the rumble on the controller is going apeshit. I think somebody was suggesting that maybe this is Ethan's imagination.
Yeah,
I
this
don't-
seems like kind of the thing that a 10-year-old boy would come up with.
And it would be this awesome?
Yeah. While also being a metaphor for some kind of trauma.
Yeah, probably. Oh shit.
There's other ones.
Man, this is gonna be a really gorgeous place to die.
Yeah. Starve to death or suffocate.
I think we run out of air for. Hello.
Fangs. The beast had fangs, but was heavy and slow, so when it saw the light in the sky, it waited, thinking the light would go out like the others before it. When it did not, the beast rose up on its legs and went to the place where the fire was still burning. As the orange light died, another took its place. This one was blue, a bright and pure blue that the creature had only seen along the edges of the stars. The beast showed its fangs and the light vanished. A moment later, the light appeared again between two distant trees. The beast wanted to go home but could not ignore the light, so it chased it deeper into the forest. When the light stopped, it did so in a clearing of trees. The beast entered the circle, feeling no fear. The trees turned toward the beast, pointing at it like needles, but the tops of the trees lowered and dug into the ground. The trunks and roots were raised into the air and closed around the beast like walls. As the ground disappeared, the beast realized it would never use its fangs again.
Ethan is a very creative young kid. I like so the detail on these sheets.
What's scratched
Get out
out?
of my room, Travis.
Ah, shit.
Stories. Always with the stories.
Get out.
I read the Fangs one. I liked the Beast. At least he gets to leave this goddamn place.
Huh. Well, that sucks.
Travis identifies with the beast, you say?
This wasn't here before.
No. We're in the space capsule.
Yep. So, yeah, I think that really, like, threw me for a loop until it was like, oh, I see what this is.
Yep.
Wow.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, Travis.
You're such a dick.
You piece of shit. Thank you for stomping on my dreams. So, okay, so this now has context.
Yeah.
So this is, in his imagination, this treehouse was this thing.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a lot of information here. It's just, like, his fantasy about, like, going far away from this place. Just going to the stars. Because he doesn't have to deal with this asshole making homophobic slurs at him.
Also, like, this is from 1964.
Is it?
And we know that the final... Chad has told us that the final withdrawal of American troops from Vietnam was completed in 1975.
Right, so this would be, like, old-ass comics that he has.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this sheet... there's so much personality to this piece of paper, and, like, this is another thing. It's like, I don't always like... Yeah, you just have to rotate it. I don't always like audio logs and books and stuff that are left behind.
Yeah.
Because, again, I think sometimes they're really lazy. This
Agreed.
is not lazy. Because, first of all, it's not someone's innermost diary thoughts left around.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a page of fiction. What this is saying about the character, about the world, is not literally the words on the page. Ethan's kind of fiction that he's writing here, it does paint this picture of, someone looking for escape from a shitty situation.
Yeah.
So the subtext there is super valuable to the narrative.
But like the ship was a containment vessel, right? That was thrown out into space with several others out in the middle of nowhere, presumably until you starve to death.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe this isn't what he assumes his ship is, but it's
something that he wants to fling these jackasses away. But yeah, so the page itself, loaded with personality. It's lined paper from like a not like a journal, like a school book or something.
Yeah.
It's very old and creased, that it's being left out or maybe stored somewhere where no one could find it.
Mm-hmm.
It's done with a shitty pen.
Yep.
And there's lots of corrections, like false starts, words that were misspelled and redone. So, like, this is great. If you're gonna have little bits and pieces in your book, just be thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just a place for you to throw information at the reader. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to say something with it.
Good luck, hands-on gamer. Good luck with that test.
So, on to the next piece.
Yeah, like the first game I remember having audio logs was System Shock 2. Mm-hmm. And I thought they performed a really like revolutionary task there.
And then everyone after it just put it in
copied
because
it.
it was a thing that
that they saw and that worked, right? And it actually worked reasonably well.
Yeah.
But was even in System Shock 2 kind of out of context.
And BioShock Infinite.
Yeah, well, I think those games copied it because
It was innate of the brand, right?
Yeah,
There was a
it
whole
was-
episode of extra credits about that, where they bend over backwards further and further to cram this shit in.
Yeah, like in BioShock, it's like a tape reel.
Yeah,
That
it's like
is
okay, sure.
And then in BioShock Infinite, it's actually like a wax cylinder.
That people have just recorded shit on. It's
Yeah. Like, guys.
guys, it's not working anymore. The margin was
Oh.
on the right. He wrote it upside down. That's crazy.
Is Ethan left-handed?
Maybe. Train's here. You know what? It's funny you mentioned that. You know that these problems that I encounter is when someone does a thing in fiction or narrative or whatever, and it works, and everybody's like, "Got it. I understand how this works. Let's just copy it."
Yeah.
And they fuck it up.
Yeah.
And then like everybody copies it exactly the same.
Right.
And it's like you didn't take the right lesson away from this. Like, was it Mikey Newman who did that thing about horror games and specifically about Friday the 13th? I'd not seen the first Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah, but it's not about Jason.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's Jason's mother
So-
for the first two movies.
Spoilers. You know how in every Friday the 13th movie, in fact every horror movie ever, the young people go and fuck and then they die, right?
Yeah.
That happened in the first Friday the 13th, not because they were having sex, but because they were having sex and being irresponsible. They
Yeah.
were supposed to be watching her kid, and instead they were fucking around, literally.
Yeah.
That's why they were punished with, her murdering them.
Yeah.
But now the lesson taken away, it's like, oh, if you fuck, you die.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not the lesson that was...
Yeah, it's...
What?
Yeah, it's that if you neglect your...
Your duties,
Yeah.
no matter how you perform that you will, suffer for it. And it's just like, you got the most superficial reading on that imaginable.
Well, you
and then
got
just ran with it.
you got a convenient reading on it that allowed you to show boobs,
Yeah.
right?
So it's why these, that's why like badly, lazily used tropes bother me so much.
Yep.
It's
Well,
because it's like,
you
no,
use them
didn't-
without understanding them,
Exactly.
right? It's like Star Trek Into Darkness, quoting Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan without understanding, like without being literate in its own canon,
Yeah.
right?
This stuff is important to me.
Well, I mean, like, it matters in a sense that it's, like, sloppy.
Yeah.
But it also matters in the fact that this stuff, like, seeps into our culture, right?
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's like-
like, for better or worse, all of these things are part of us.
Yeah, and
Right.
it's like, maybe, like, sure, maybe something's just a job or whatever, but it's just like, if you're a creator and you're seeking to create something, like, have some mindfulness about the larger impact of what you're doing
Yeah.
and what you're saying.
Well, like,
Because it's not contained just within this work.
yeah.
Because, if it's really successful, it may inspire others, it may be adapted or
Friends have been
something.
through here for a long time.
like, we,
That was
as,
part of a pattern.
if we have,
Pieces of this
Sorry.
country were
Sorry.
thrown away, doomed to become and then remain the worst versions of themselves. Beneath all that rot, dark things grow.
yeah, very David Lynch.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
We as a society, or as a global civilization, are probably never going to have another Library of Alexandria moment. We are not going to undergo another complete erasure of all of our knowledge, right? So the things that we put into our media are going to be with us forever, right?
Yeah.
Like the shit we do now, they're with us for the long haul. It's from here to eternity. So the things that the stories we tell are going to tell people about us for
Yeah, it's like
for eons.
What was it? Was it the Double Clicks who did that song about the about Star Wars? You know, just being like, and there's one verse where it's just like, a movie is a snapshot of the era it was created in, something like that. It's like, it is.
Yeah, it is. Well, Northrop Frye has that whole thing about like scholars are kind of cultural historians, right?
Yeah.
Like we go back and we look at the stories told by earlier versions of ourselves, and we can get a sense for what kind of people they were, right?
Yep. So
like if we know that Quixote was supposed to be a clown, or that Falstaff was supposed to be a clown, and now we have very sympathetic readings of those characters, right? Like maybe we are becoming more empathetic as
was it
people.
Fallen Storm? Thank you. Is it like nerdcore kind of?
Well, like if we have another Alexandria with, 8 billion people living on this planet, I'm not convinced that there will be humans left afterwards, right? Like if we lose the internet, that implies that a lot more shit has been going down.
Yeah.
Right? Like when your grandparents ask you, well, what are you going to do if you don't have a calculator? Be like, I'll probably be like digging for tubers in the side of a river going, damn. Scratch.
Like,
scratch,
hope I
scratch,
make
scratch.
it through the winter.
Damn. Right?
Yeah.
Like, if we don't have a calculator, shit has gone seriously wrong.
Yeah. It's always nice to experience something with a lot of thoughtfulness put into it. Even if it's not like, I didn't like every part of this game, but there's a lot here that is supremely thoughtful. And that's a delight.
The multi-layered dam? Yeah, there's a dam here.
Holy shit. Damn. Damn.
Oh, I need to go back and read Jameson again.
Oh, yeah?
I really like Frederick Jameson.
I don't know who that is.
He was a literary and cultural critic. You should read Jameson. I'll send you some papers. Oh.
Wait, that was the path that we took here. But what's this?
You'd like him, he's good.
Cool. Cool. Sorry. This just goes on and on. It's another nature hike.
All roads lead to...
Fuck.
Somewhere. To
Well,
rocks.
Piss. Still, it's a nice route. Because I'm curious. Like, they have to put... Video games, like, this is like a level design thing. They have to kind of wall the player in from a certain extent. And I think that decisions they make design-wise that sort of draw the player along a certain path are a lot better than just like putting visible barriers in front or like to their sides to just like funnel them in. Like, we are kind of on rails, but we're also, we're at least given the illusion that we're not closed in to the level. And I think really good level design will sort of show you that. Look at that. I never made it down to that villa.
This is really pretty.
It's supremely
like there's a cable car that goes across the river.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is real good.
This reminds me of a place that we would drive past every summer when we would go to visit my family here.
Yeah, the rails aren't necessarily the right way to go, but they are like a guiding factor.
Like I don't think we can really ignore the message of the rails here, right? Like, we are all video gamers.
Yeah.
We know what rails are, right? And the fact that you kind of are encouraged gently to go off of them and come back to them, I think is
it's also
very literate on the
it's
part of the designers here.
It's also interesting because like right here the rails intersect a bridge. And so there's a definite like change in path. Like this is a much more tempting path than that, which we checked out and there ended up being nothing. They could have put the barrier a lot closer. They didn't. Maybe there's little details that we forgot. But this is now, and because we saw where the village was the whole way through here, we're drawn this way.
If Hollywood could learn a lesson from Fury Road, it would be women are complex people and are allowed to fail and, like, basically go through all the foibles and self-doubt that male characters experience.
Yep.
CG is best when you can actually have people go through a movie thinking, it was really good that they had no CG in that.
Yeah, CG is
Whereas
best when
in
it's
fact,
undetectable.
it's everywhere in that movie.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of CG. Like, a surprising amount of CG in that film.
Yeah.
I've seen
And
every version
that-
of people hurting each other, hurting themselves.
I can probably put this back up a little
Blame
bit.
it on compulsion, selfishness, madness. I suppose the idea is, if you name a thing, you can control it. There are things in this world that cannot be named.
Let me see if I can
Interesting.
rebalance this so that the voices.
Yeah. Voice up.
There we go.
Yeah, I'll bring it down.
Sweet.
Yeah, naming things, very important in Western literature. Gnosis is the, or logos, sorry, the power of God to call something into being by giving it a name.
Please observe the individual puddles
This
and
seems,
reflections.
suddenly this seems like a very different place.
Yeah, it kind of does. Well, I mean, like, it's being replaced. The green sort of fields have been replaced with this sort of, like, constructed, old, but probably still used fairly recently. Like, this is an old town. So, like, this stuff was probably put in ages ago.
Wild Peaks, yeah. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Predator, a better movie than people give it credit for.
It's really good.
It's so sweet. Do you want to go watch Predator?
Kinda.
All right, later, everyone.
Was it Jesse Ventura's line? What the fuck? Oh, man.
Dug in like an Alabama tick.
Yep, better shower it with grenades. What a nice little village.
Yeah.
Definitely not full of murderers. So
This definitely seems like a tourist trap that didn't make its bank back.
Yeah. So this is cool because the first little case thing we solved has painted a very grim picture of the people who live here, which is, I think, deliberately at odds with how the place looks. Like, this is an idyllic location. It's gorgeous. But you can tell there's something sinister below the surface.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, all the glass is broken, it's
This place is
abandoned
also
and derelict.
dilapidated. Yeah. Oh, look at this. The dirt washed up onto the concrete.
Yeah. Like, this villa is so out of place.
It seems
Right,
like a
like-
weird place to build it.
It seems very artificial, right? This seems like, come visit our historic Bavarian-style villa.
Bavarian style. Was it actually built by Bavarians? Oh,
Hell
hell
no.
no. Not even a little bit. Is that the cable car?
That looks like that
mine
looks like a
shaft or
cable, like, crane.
Well, we'll check this out first, and then we'll check that out. Carpenter movies? Yeah, kinda. This does look like the setting for a Carpenter movie, like late at night, some sort of spider-walking monster person comes out. Okay. Fuck the main door. Oh. The hubris! The hubris!
I've never seen karma pay off that fast.
Yep.
Ah, Paige.
Wow. I invoke the boneless one, the one avoids destroyer of ships, and he who is feared by the winds. Hear me, great minister of folklore. I wish to make a pact with you to confound my enemies and protect my possessions. Use the doors of confusion to cloud their judgment. Seal the path with falsity and guile, and permit only those who can discern every true interior to pass. Aglon tetragram. Vaishon simulam ton ferablem bim him bim 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 habidim amen.
What is the tetragrammaton again? The Hebrew name of God.
Oh, there we go.
For Yahweh, right? YH.
Yeah. So again, another little note with its own personality. This is on maybe parchment. You know,
I'd feel you'd spring for the good paper if you're going to write this.
well, there's
out.
a fiber sticking out.
Oh yeah.
And so this is like
So well, we know it's not.
piece of parchment.
Yeah.
Probably written by hand in like an obviously like old style. Maybe like this is probably not a contemporary thing. With
is
a
this-
weird cryptic kind of pseudo satanic symbol.
Well, this is Golden Dawn stuff, isn't it?
Is it? Vellum, rag paper.
It wouldn't be vellum. Vellum doesn't have fibers because vellum
That's
is
an actual
calf skin.
Goetic sigil. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's sigilistic, right?
Uh-oh.
Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn.
Okay, so if this is what I'm thinking of, this might have been one of the puzzles that kind of honked me off.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, we'll see. If it's the
Like
one
I
think
can see these ones being like either working really well or really like.
Okay, so yeah, this is so. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Okay. So this was a puzzle that pissed me off.
Okay.
The one before was about sleuthing, and we like follow the clues and the trail to piece everything together. I didn't get that sensation from this one.
Okay.
It was like, let's see if we can figure this out. So we're in a house, and there's a bunch of these doorways.
Okay, so we basically like a museum exhibit, right?
Interesting. So we ended up outside. But if we read this again,
Oh, I like that dial M for Mara.
we activate this.
Oh, this seems like.
So we're in here.
Okay, so we have a language to learn first.
Like, what is this? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I can see this. Like,
I was like, what?
yeah, these puzzles I can see, or like these set pieces, have the potential to either go like well or poorly.
Yeah, like, I sort of see what they're trying to do, but like, I just, this one felt really arbitrary.
Okay.
So here, this is what I was really hoping that we would get to in the course of this this stream, was to contrast gameplay as a enhancing factor for narrative and as an inhibiting factor. I
Yeah.
think this is an inhibition.
Yeah.
This
well, like
when I played this the first time, it pissed me off and it broke me out of the narrative and out of the world, and it was just a chore.
right, like, and yeah, that distinction between enhancement and inhibition can be like razor thin.
Yeah, it's like
Right?
you can fuck it up really easily. So like I ended up trying to figure out where I don't even remember how I
Yeah, like the
this one.
fail state. Maybe that's it. Maybe the fail states need to be very clear.
Well, I mean, it took me a long time to figure out how the hell this worked, and I don't even
Like-
remember exactly how it.
Like
I
the
think you just-
earlier ones, right, where you would like look at it and it would say like, turn
1,
or text.
2, 3.
Like, what does swap mean?
Yeah, like what even in the context of you being a psychic detective trying to figure out what happened here is this?
Yeah.
Like what?
This seems like a good place for a narration being like, oh, this
wa-
is how this actually works.
Yeah, you're supposed to look at the other
Other
house
house,
and memorize it and then figure it out from here. So red, whatever the fuck that means. So
And now
yeah,
we're back at the. Okay, so
So-
apparently we failed out of it.
Yeah, so I think we're supposed to look at this house, maybe, or a different house, and memorize its layout.
Although,
and then,
like,
and then replicate it.
Can I just say this house is gorgeous?
Yeah, it's so good.
Like, I've totally, like, gotten into this house.
Yeah, it's really great.
And, although this house definitely needs, like,
Some
more
TLC.
graffiti, right, and like broken bottles.
Yeah. But maybe this was the cursed house that the kids didn't bother going into. So I think that what you're meant to do is memorize the layout for this house and replicate that, but it's just like, why?
Yeah.
When we did the thing before, we were reassembling
Yeah, a crime scene.
the crime scene.
Right.
And, that followed, and then it's like, okay, what happened first and second and third and fourth and sixth? This is just like, what, huh?
Yeah.
What,
what's
what
the
is
goal
this?
here? Okay, yeah, no, I can see this being like very
So, yeah,
frustrating.
it bothered me a lot, and it bothered me more because I was so into the first one, and you can have this happen, like, in the course of, like, one game, right?
Yeah.
We've had a bunch of stuff that worked really well, and then you have this bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Eh.
so let me try and...
So are we stuck here until we figure it out?
This might be an optional one, but it's just like, what? So let me see if I can remember how this place
Oh my
looks.
god, is this a Doors of Perception puzzle?
A what?
No,
I mean-
like, that's not a puzzle type, but is it like a pun on...
Yeah, maybe. Well, let me see. Okay, so... Oops, where's... Oh, yeah, we have to go in here. Yeah, I think this is a... Was this a different house? 1, 2, 3. There's only 3 options. Now, was this the same... Was this the same house?
Okay, well, like, I can read this in terms of, like, actually something similar to Dear Esther, where the house becomes the interiority of a character,
Yeah?
right? And you're trying to navigate it. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, so what?
Right? Like,
we fucked it up.
yeah. Okay, so we're assuming red here is wrong.
Yeah.
We need to visit the other house first
Probably.
and, like, click through until the it lines up.
Maybe. Like, I
That's not intuitively...
yeah, it's just like,
obvious.
what? Oh,
I mean, it must be really hard to be a game designer.
yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like, I think that they had a system working with that first puzzle, and I don't know why they didn't just, like, stick with it. I think a couple of other areas you go here have that same thing. This one just straight doesn't make sense to me. Like, what narratively are you trying to accomplish with this puzzle?
Right.
I don't feel like anything is being accomplished narratively with this. It's just
Okay,
like
yeah.
match up the fucking puzzle pieces of this house. But it's just like, why?
Well, and it's interesting because, like, I feel like in a late 90s Myst clone, this would have been literally like match up the puzzle pieces,
Yeah.
right? Because you would need a puzzle at this point in the game, right? It's been like 5 minutes since the last game piece, so you need one here. And now, like, they're doing the same thing they did with the previous puzzle, where the puzzle is integrated into the game world and the character, but here it doesn't work as well.
Yeah. So apparently it's that house. So here's another issue where it's like we go into this situation. We're like, what the fuck is this? What do you want me to do? Can I solve this now? Answer no, because the tools we need to solve it are over here.
Right.
That sucks.
And maybe that's our training as gamers. That we have been trained that when we encounter something, we should have the tools to do it already.
I think that that's good puzzle design. Like if I
Well, yeah,
encounter-
I would agree with you.
Because,
Right.
like, I don't mind, like, brain teasers when it's like, this is a brain teaser. Here are the tools you have to solve
Yeah.
it. Here is the success state.
Yeah.
Here's what you're
Well,
trying to do.
I think we've been trained as gamers that
Yeah.
walking away from something is failure.
Yeah, it is.
Right? And instead of being like, okay, we obviously, like usually when you encounter a fight you can't beat right away, you have to go and grind more, which is almost a punishment.
Yeah. But yeah, like that. So that one was very
Like Digital Seahorse, I like that reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to become more familiar with the person whose like psychic space you're trying to inhabit as
I
a
could
psychic detective.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that they succeeded with this particular
No,
puzzle,
because,
but that's
like-
a good idea.
Like that would have been a great thing for the narrator to communicate.
Yeah.
right? Because we've already had a narrator who can tell us things.
I like this this clarity that this isn't going anywhere
Yeah.
and you are not fixing it.
Yeah, like buttons fucked, yo.
So, this is an interesting location. It's also like, this is really rusted, but this, more than anything, tells me I can't repair this.
Really? I get the opposite from
Really?
that.
Maybe?
Yeah. Like, go find the 2 buttons somewhere
Yeah.
below this, then you can
I
restore
mean,
this.
yeah,
but
like,
it doesn't have a
you could-
tooltip.
you could
so,
be right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I imagine with the context that we've had so far, it would tell us that we could fix this. But
Yeah.
it looks
yeah,
like...
No, yeah, I'd agree. Like,
Yeah.
if we were supposed to interact with it, it would have, like, a floating thing in front of it.
Oh my god, antechamber.
I
Ugh.
really want to play that, because it looks, if nothing else, very pretty.
I hope that you enjoy it, because I hated it.
Okay,
I
really?
hated it intensely.
Hmm.
Because, and the thing is that, like, this person was, what they're saying is correct, is that, like, it plays off of and contradicts your game
Like,
literacy.
or your training as a
Your
gamer?
training, and it has, like, weird, like, out of context stuff, and that's really cool, and if I was more into puzzle games, maybe I'd find it. I just found it so intensely frustrating.
Mhm.
And, like,
No,
I wanted
that's
to
fair.
pick the game up and shake it and be like, what do you want me to do?
Well, that's like Temple of... No, sorry, not Temple of Elemental Evil. What was the other early D&D module that was written by Gary Gygax that was supposed to... Basically, was non-stop goozling of veteran players.
Yeah, Tomb of Horrors?
Tomb of Horrors, right? Which was basically supposed to, like, be a giant middle finger
Yeah.
to power gamers. Yeah.
It's,
And I went into that being relatively new to the concept of D&D, and because I hadn't played D&D in the 80s, or really the 90s, I had only picked it up in the 2000s, I had not really become familiar with the assumed language.
So
that
you
these-
didn't get screwed so hard?
Well,
by...
I didn't get screwed so hard until, like, arbitrarily I just died
Okay, so this is
for
the
walking
house.
down a hallway.
So here's the house we're meant to memorize for that puzzle.
Oh, okay.
Which... They should have put this puzzle in the same house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe they were trying to lead the player, to some other area. But my sensation, because... Or, wait, no, here's how you fix this.
Mm-hmm.
You swap these houses, so you encounter this first,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
one second. So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I know this place!
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh shit, I should go back and check it out. But because you encounter the puzzle first, you're like, what in the fuck is this?
Yeah, how does this even work? What am I expected to do?
Am I doing it wrong? Why am I not learning? This is frustrating, and now this is a chore.
Yeah, no, I agree. That would have been a fairly simple swap to make. So there's Ethan, there's Travis. Oh.
Oh, that's... I gotta say, I'm talking a lot of shit about the puzzle stuff in this game, but many of the things in this game are very, very, very good. And the letters and little notes and tidbits are really good.
Can I just say I really like Ethan's handwriting?
It's very tidy.
Yeah, this is the handwriting of a very conscientious child.
Also, please observe that the photo is
it's
actually warped.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much personality in all of these little things. Which makes them so much more than just, like, info dump pickups.
Yeah.
Which is why I really resent them in most of the forms that I find them, is because that's all they are. They're like, they have a big text document of, like, what's going on in the story. It's like, we need to put this part, pull it out, just stick it there. It's like, some character was thinking aloud about this thing we need to explain. I'm like...
into their tape recorder.
Like,
right?
And they left it paused at this exact moment.
Yeah, and then they took it, like, yeah.
Then they took it out and carefully laid it on the ground where you could find it. Or, like, were clutching it as they died.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want you to get a tape recorder where you play it and it's just screaming. It's like, why did I bring the tape recorder and not a crowbar? Oh, I'm so stupid. Arg. You
or
know?
the fact that, like, maybe under duress you don't leave, like, notes.
Yeah.
Christ, I have empty journals at home like nobody's business.
Yeah. Okay, so...
Not everyone is an avid journaler.
So... this is a difficult thing to write down.
Like, I remember even System Shock 2 dallied with alternatives, right? Like, I don't think you encounter an audio log as your first...
Feel it, right?
Oh.
Something coming from the Vandergrift house.
I can feel it. Ethan disturbed the sleep.
Interesting.
So I'm going to try and find the path upstairs, because that may be the
Yeah.
only path we need to follow.
Excuse
You
me.
need to talk to your
Dead?
son. He was poking around in the old Vandergrift house again. Said he found some secret room.
Yeah, really? Okay, I will go talk to him.
All this information we had to get first.
Yeah.
These...
Like, did we sequence break somewhere?
No! The Vandergrift house is the first thing you see.
Huh.
So, here's how you fix this puzzle. You swap the physical positions of these two houses.
Mm-hmm.
So you encounter this house first, and the second house second, and then that puzzle is like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
So, that's a simple thing,
Yeah.
but it's
And, like,
very important.
you know, all it took was that little bit to remind me that, like, oh yeah, this game is really interesting me.
Yeah. So, you know, we're back into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we only need to memorize the...
Like, what?
So
But
that's a
what's the
long haul.
content of this puzzle?
Travis, leave the boy alone.
Hold on.
I see how you've been looking at it.
You don't even know, do you? You have no idea what's going on.
I mean, I sure don't. I mean, the read I have on it now is that, like, maybe the Vandergrift house is like, they have a, well, the note he had, you know, it's like, confound my enemies with, like, portals and bars. It's like,
Right.
you know, it's some sort of otherworldly portal into their home to confound them. And it's like, mission accomplished. I'm
Yeah, I'm
confused as
confounded.
shit.
Okay, apparently this is the first house you encounter, but the other house is, like, much more...
It's more prominent.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They're crazy. You've all gone crazy.
When I say the first house you encounter, I mean the one
The one
that's
that
the
attracts you.
the-
And I mean, like, that even makes sense architecturally, right? Because, like, if you're in the old Vandergrift house, right, like from the newspaper
They're
clipping,
getting worse.
Yeah.
They keep talking about this thing, this sleeper.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
like we saw in the newspaper clipping that the Vandergrift, like, there's a big dispute over their fortune, right? The inheritance. So we get a communication of it, like, the Vandergrifts are wealthy, possibly. And that means you would expect their house to be, like, maybe someplace architecturally prominent.
It's not my fault. I didn't mean for any of this to happen.
Treasure Island, H.G. Wells.
Ew. They're reading Jules Verne in translation. Fucking amateurs. A
Mark
Connecticut
Twain.
Yankee in King
These are-
Arthur's Court.
Yeah, well, these are all
Like, old
classics.
proto sci-fi.
Narrative Arthur Golden Pym of Nantucket.
Huh.
Okay, so now that we've been in this space, here, I'll go outside and we will see where exactly everything is. And we'll see how we're visually sort of drawn to one.
This is almost a situation where you can imagine needing to find a key to get into the other house.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, maybe, and put it in
Like,
this house.
almost literally a key.
Yeah.
Actually,
Like-
literally a key.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been easier. So it's like, yeah, you come off the bridge, the first thing you see is this massive fucking house.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe they wanted to draw the player towards this house, but this is the first one, and it's the most obvious one, and it's the most eye-catching one. And as you approach, there's a path to the left leading up to the first one you saw.
Yeah.
Like, personally, as Curious George, I'm never gonna pass up the first thing I can see to go to the second thing. You always read Jules Vernon, the original Klingon.
I really enjoyed that in Star Trek 6.
Hmm?
Star Trek 6, the Klingons are like, you haven't experienced Shakespeare until you've read him in the original Klingon.
Really?
Right, well, there's all this, like, cultural cross-pollination going on.
Uh-huh.
Like, the ancient Vulcan proverb of only Nixon could go to China.
That is weird. Okay, so... No.
No. 2 stairwells together. A room? Yeah, no, it's the room.
This... That one?
Yeah.
Nope.
No? Oh.
Shit, we fucked up.
It can't be the other stairwell.
I don't remember this room. Yeah, I think we're just gonna punt on this one. Yeah. It's okay. We can try it again. But yeah, like it's also just like this isn't like, you know, one of those puzzles where it's like, oh, I've seen this before, I can copy down these sigils. It's like, remember what this house looked like?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have a lot of landmarks as far as like a house is concerned.
Apparently there's a pallet against the wall. Like there are visual landmarks, but
Yeah.
you really have to be conscious of them.
So this one's definitely correct.
Yeah, I remember the long hallway at the top of the stairs.
That, I think this was like...
Yeah. Like, as visual language, I really like this puzzle, right? Like, you're trying to reconstruct Ethan's headspace.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if the...
Shit, was this one right?
The windows feel like they're correct there. Yeah.
Okay. So we're
like this is very much in the tradition of like Restoration and Renaissance English literature of like the nation is the king's body.
I think it was maybe that one. No.
Yeah,
No.
I like the idea of this puzzle. I don't like the implementation.
Yeah. So this was...
No.
No. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna be so mad when we punt on this.
No.
No. No, because that's impossible like
Yeah.
there's... Oh no, wait, there's stairs there. So if the stairs are there... Yep, that might
Yeah.
That is
that-
correct. Okay.
Good.
Okay,
I
so-
like how we don't remember what the other house looked like.
Well, we can figure it out.
Yeah, it has to make sense.
So let's try to figure out this one. I guess we have to just like fill out the entire house. That's definitely wrong.
Yeah. No, the palette. Somebody said in the palette. Or somebody said in chat the palette is important. Yeah? That was wrong earlier. I'm sure that was wrong earlier.
That one also seems wrong. Because it goes like outside in a way that's impossible.
Yeah.
Sure? Fuck!
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That's... I mean, I don't know how many takesies backsies we get. So nothing will break I've mentioned this so many times on like Let's Nope and stuff like that. Nothing will break a player out of your experience more quickly than frustration. I'm pretty sure this is right. Okay, and that's why I think that these, like, having puzzles that are poorly implemented and bad are so deadly to your experience, because like it takes maybe even just one to just be that fly in the ointment and just be like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
So I think we punted on this. We may just need to. So I don't even know. So wait, do we get another chance? Maybe we get 3 strikes.
Oh. No, that one can't work.
Okay, I'm gonna wait. Which one is this? It's not the. Hang on. It's not the pallet. It's not this one.
Yeah.
So we have two
so
options.
it has to be that one.
So window or other window. It's like window, door, or just window.
Can we go outside again?
I don't think I want to.
No.
Doors.
Okay.
Short stairs. Deal.
Okay.
Okay, so now, fuck, what's this one? That looks like maybe a broom closet cupboard. Ah, yeah. I'm forgetting everything. That seems not... No. Like, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Window door. So how about this one? Dining table. Window. Door.
That looks like the opposite of the room that we just came into.
Maybe. Oh god. Yeah, see, when I start reaching for the strategy guide, I'm like, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Table? Dining table, dining table. Sure. No.
Nope. You lied.
You lied to us!
You did this.
Oh, now we're fucked.
Absolutely goozled.
Alright. There was a window.
Tell you what. We've been live for like 4 hours.
Jesus, have we? We should...
It's 10 o'clock.
Oh.
We might want to wrap this.
We probably should. It's a shame that we're wrapping here, but...
Yeah, like it always, like, this is a feels bad.
But I mean, like, overall, like, I do like this game.
Yeah.
Let me just make that very clear. That I do like Vanishing of Ethan Carter. Despite some issues with it. And hopefully that's provided you some contrast, where you can see there is... You know what? It's almost like risk-reward, where it's like... Dear Esther had no conventional gameplay to speak of.
Yeah.
And I think that it was very effective in getting its message across, in articulating a story, in weaving its atmosphere. And this game, the first couple of situations we encountered, it had an enhancing effect on it.
Yeah.
And in this situation, it had a deleterious effect on it. So it's interesting. You know, do you want to put gameplay in your narrative game? Maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Both can work.
And like it can go very wrong.
Yeah, in a big hurry.
So, yeah. Do you want to do like a quick QA?
Yeah, let's
does anyone have any questions
QA
for
and
us?
then we should probably bust out of here. So if it'll be like, what are we doing next week? Because I don't know that we'll revisit these games, like, because I think each week we're going to do something a little different.
Yeah.
We can probably go to the booth. Should do Talking Sim on Soma with the mod that takes away monster aggression. Maybe. I've heard that one's pretty wild.
We probably won't be finishing this on stream. This isn't quite what the stream is
it's not
about.
really like a play and beat games. I think we've said, well, we've been on for 4 hours talking about this stuff, and we'll probably do something else. What is next? We have a lot of stuff in the backlog.
We actually need to work out what
we've got a
do
list that
next
we
week.
need to weed down, and we appreciate the suggestions, but like we have so many games.
Yeah, we should actually probably figure it out tomorrow. at the latest.
So we'll do that. I did play Soma, and I liked it a lot. And I liked that it did not have a lot of gameplay. I thought it was sweet.
Talking Simulator Original Doom?
Original Doom? Like the first one?
Yeah.
What would I say about... Actually, there are some OG games that I wouldn't mind talking about. Like, if I was going to go way back in the catalog, Half-Life 1.
Yeah.
Actually, Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, like, double feature would be pretty good. Because surprisingly large amount of narrative stuff in a very conventional video game framework.
Yeah, absolutely. The old game that I would love to come back to is Alpha Centauri.
And then contrast that with...
I don't even think you need to.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot to talk about in that game, not even considering a contrast with Beyond Earth, which was... I'd be quite happy never visiting Beyond Earth again. I would love to do like a nostalgia stream
Yeah.
that focuses heavily on XCOM and XCOM 2.
Yeah. How does Firewatch fit into this topic in your opinions? I love Firewatch so much, and it's another game that they really did something different with that one.
I have yet to play it.
It's fucking nuts. Like I'm not gonna go too far into it, but what they did mechanically with narrative in that game is like kind of jaw-dropping.
All right.
And I felt kind of the same way about Oxenfree.
Okay, which is another game I really need to play.
Yeah, this shit's good.
Okay.
So yeah, it's they're both good in a kind of tangentially similar way, and that they're like super dialogue driven, but like dialogue driven in a way that gives the player choices that like kind of feel meaningful.
Okay.
There's a shitload of dialogue in both of those games.
All right.
It's redonkulous.
Neuromancer and its effects on sci-fi and gaming. That might be a bit outside. Like, if we could find the original Neuromancer game, I'm not even sure that would be a good streaming experience.
Yeah. Do you think VR will help walking sims become more popular, or opposed to it as a gimmick? I've not played with any of the more modern VR apparatus. I sort of feel like it's still a technology that's like not quite there yet, but I think it's getting close. I think that it could have some pretty amazing implications as far as this sort of virtual experience is concerned. But it's still, I think it still is trying to get its sea legs. It's just like,
I can almost see these games going in a couple of directions where some of them asphyxiate into like VR.
Yeah,
like VR headsets, and others become games where you do this, moving through a space.
Man, like the like enhanced reality kind of things.
Augmented. Yeah,
Sorry,
augmented reality. Yeah.
But like maybe, sort of, kind of. Frog fractions. Probably not. The other limitation of VR is like I'm trying to remember if I got nauseous the last time I used it, which it would be really frustrating because I love this sort of shit, and being able to play it with a VR headset would probably be really great.
The reason I've never tried VR is because I was warned off of it after everyone got pink eye at PAX that one year. And so I've never had I've never had an access to an Oculus Rift that I've trusted.
Yeah. Well, because most of them are in public spaces, and
yeah.
You know, pink eye comes from getting poop in your eye, right? Wash your fucking hands.
Fucking nerds.
Jesus Christ.
So disgusting. Did I ever tell you about the time I was in the theater and I saw a guy walk into a toilet stall with his, like, abyss gulp under one arm and his, like, fucking trough of popcorn under his other?
Uh-huh.
Like, just walked into the bathroom and into a toilet stall. And I was
How did he do anything?
I don't care. I was out.
Oh, man. Oh, dear. You're not supposed to wear the VR rig on your butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what else. We can probably take a few more questions here. Everybody's just being like, ew.
Yeah, nope.
So,
no
abyss gulp, as in like a big gulp. A huge gulp. Desire to know more de-intensifies. Nope, dive. Oh yeah, we should thank our subs as well.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. So we said we were going to thank all our new subs at the end of the stream. So we had Ember922, who just subscribed right before we had that cut off. And our who resubscribed for 25 months. Thank you very much, Ember922. And our Arcodus, who just subscribed for 12 months, their 1 year anniversary.
Hey!
Thank you very much, Arcodus.
Yeah, I think we'll make a habit of doing like the entire list at the end, because just having it interrupt in the middle is just like really every other stream I think it works fine for.
Yeah, but like here when we're on a tear, yeah.
It has fecal ocular root. It's like the VR anal stimulation apparatus. I mean, they can do things with the
What
no
the
vid
fuck, man?
Oh God, one day that'll happen. It'll be a weird day. Anywho,
There's not enough beer.
yeah, we will make an announcement as to what's on our next stream. There's lots of different things. I mean, Paul put Myst back on my radar.
Oh right,
Because
yeah.
like, if you want to talk about old games that are sort of narrative themed,
Yeah, like the proto walking simulator.
yeah. I mean, like, well, I'll save it for the stream if if we do that. That's probably one that's worth visiting.
Yeah.
So,
Especially with Cyan's new game coming up sometime in the future.
shit, they have a new one?
Yeah, it was kickstarted. It's called Abducted.
Oh, I have not heard about it. Because I fell off the bandwagon actually like right after Myst. Like I didn't play Riven. I think I looked at it and was like, puzzles.
Yeah.
Which is fair because like that game doesn't make any bones about being about puzzles.
Yeah,
but it was
well,
just
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't think I can do this.
Literally next month. All right.
Fantastic. So, this has been a very long talking simulator
Yeah,
today.
but I think it's productive.
It's good.
I really...
As long as we don't run out of shit to say,
Yeah.
I think it's fine. So we will see you later.
Yeah,
What's on tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have AFK with Chaos Draft. With the packs that you saw
Chaos
select
you know what?
on...
Hang on. We're going to promo this.
So how are you guys? So if you keep up with Tap Tap Concede, you may have seen us select the packs for
This
tomorrow's
is just
Chaos Draft.
to whip you into a excited frenzy. This is the actual set of draft packs for the Chaos Draft. It will include original Shadows over Innistrad, Avacyn Restored, Tempest.
Dude, you're thumping those onto the table so hard, and it's like...
Is it super loud?
It's good. It's good.
Plane Shift.
Boom.
Original Innistrad. Cons of Tarkir. Conspiracy. Modern Masters, the first one.
Oh.
Magic Origins. What the hell is this?
That's revised?
Holy shit, is that revised?
It's the first mass printing one. Unlimited?
I think it's either revised or unlimited.
It's this one.
It's that one.
It's the one without anything good in it.
Lorwyn.
4th ed.
Onslaught. Urza's Saga. World Wake. 2010. Invasion. Apocalypse. Future Sight.
Tight.
That's gonna be fucked.
Yeah.
This draft.
What are you going to do with your Jace?
Well, we're playing the World Wake and the Tarmogoyf.
Well,
lotteries.
yeah, obviously.
You know, it's gonna happen. So
Okay, so that's going to be totally sweet. I hope you guys are able to join us.
8 men enter, 1 man leaves.
It's at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock?
I don't know.
Let's say 6 o'clock, and
Probably
if it's 7
6.
o'clock, you can all hang out together and chat.
So,
While we get our shit together.
all right. We'll see you later.
Yeah, we're going to run an ad. We would really appreciate it if you watch it. And otherwise, I'm sure there are many associated streams that are going on right now, and maybe one of our mods or a chat member could drop those into the into chat right now. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've been Cameron,
I've been Alex.
and until next week,
Later.
toodles.
We need a catchphrase.
Eh.
Catchphrase!
Catchphrase.